Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, so let's go over the state of commentary in Melee.
Yeah, sounds
Um,
great.
Especially with "Don't Park on the Grass" being uh, quite relevant and fresh in people's minds, with the mini controversies about the stream, and then also the commentary, especially for doubles. So
Yeah.
we have these
The
topics written out here.
so we put together a bunch of topics to talk about because especially with teams, I was thinking about that a lot this weekend. But
Yeah, as I watched that, I was like, "Wow, okay, definitely gonna catch some attention here and there."
yeah, definitely. There's a lot of different types of commentary, different mindsets behind commentary, and it kind of opened my eyes recently to just look at all of that. And so we decided to pile together some stuff. And I didn't know who else better to talk to about it than you. And
Thanks, man.
we got in contact with Prague, so it got even better than that.
Yeah.
So
In fact, if we ever do this again, I actually would like to ask like Prague, Tove, Scar, like anyone that regularly, is like I would say Prague is like the granddaddy of commentary, but anyone who's like known for their commentary, I definitely want
yeah,
to be able to ask in the future. Anyway, as you start with everything, you must start at the core. So we're going to start with commentary's relevance to competitive gaming. Where would we be without it? Why bother commentating in the first place? Now, here's the thing. Um, the origin of commentary. Let's, we could go.
we can go back.
We could probably go really far back. I'm gonna keep it like, I'm gonna keep it general here. Commentary started. Well, and here's the thing: is because I would have to like Wikipedia the shit, but essentially, commentary became very important right around I want to say the 30s and 40s, mainly 40s, where radios were super popular, and there were no TVs. So baseball games, football games, news, weather, whatever the hell that America, especially as a whole, needed in terms of entertainment. Uh, that's where commentary came in, because back in the 40s, commentators have to be the viewer's eyes essentially, and
Yes.
that's essentially the origin of commentary, and that's where that's where it all started, and that's why we bother, because there are going to be people that are watching or listening. Back then they were listening, and we need to show them what they're seeing, and commentators can entertain, educate, display with their words, essentially. Like I would like Ice and Diz Kid Boogie is at Don't Park on the Grass, essentially. I keep saying essentially. Ice and Disc
All
Kid
right.
Boogie is a good example of that. Like I was driving home from work and listening to the rest of Don't Park on the Grass.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to see grand finals, winners finals, semis and all that. But what I did get to hear was the commentary for Nun and Disc Kid Boogie, and that was my eyes. That helped me imagine the set,
Right.
which
Right.
provided me the entertainment. Like, because the thing is if I wasn't able to see it and there was no one to commentate it for me, I just wouldn't watch. I would go and check Smashboards or some shit, or go on Reddit, because that's where everyone wants to post every single set's results nowadays.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
yeah, that's where commentary comes in. Is that we are the eyes, the ears, and we are also essentially the in crowd. So it's both good for those who physically can't know, for those who are experienced and want entertainment, or those who are inexperienced and want to learn. So commentary as like a whole can be it can be just tracked to that. So commentary is extremely relevant, especially
Oh,
in gaming
absolutely.
too. Because gaming, like, let's put it this way: we call ourselves esports. Well, guess what? Esports meet regular sports. So whereas
Yeah.
regular sports need commentary, so do we. And I figure this will be just for a formatting future references, that I'll give my perspective, you can add on and give your perspective, and then we'll go
Right.
to
Right.
Prague's answer. So that's my take on it. Is that without commentary, entertainment would not be as far as it is. And also, considering how far gaming has come in terms of like what it's how close it is to actual sports, commentary is pretty much 100% necessary. We tell a story.
Absolutely. And to add on to that, I mean, nowadays especially, and when it comes to obviously sports versus esports, there's a lot more of an analytical side inside of gaming, inside of esports commentary that, and naked eye, someone that just tunes in, let's just say we're on ESPN2 again, like we were last year for Street Fighter, right? Let's just say someone turns on the TV or they're sitting at the bar, they have no idea what's going on. They need someone that could be able to convey that information to help understand what's going on in the first place. You can't just look at football, obviously, and be like, oh, that's easy, right? That's always how it is. But I think esports a little more important and significant just because of that attention to detail reason.
Especially like you can imagine the kind of people that are watching ESPN2, people in like their mid-30s, older gentlemen that might have been younger and in the arcades when the original Street Fighter and Street Fighter 2, also came out, when it was, really started to get notoriety. So they're going to switch channels and seeing ESPN2. Okay, a couple things. One, they're going to see a video game. They're going to question that. Two, they're going to see Street Fighter. And for many, they're going to be like, oh, hey, sweet, Street Fighter. I used to play this all the time. And then...
Right.
There's going to be a lot of those newcomers, people that are taking in this, the fact that they're seeing a video game on an ESPN channel and a game that they may know, what it is already, and they're going to need someone to guide them, to keep them around and tell them exactly what they're watching.
Right. And you could consider commentators kind of like sellers, they sell outside members of the community, this is what we do, and it can help draw people in depending on the attitude of the commentators. How well projected they are over what's going on in front of them. Something crazy happens, they're screaming, they're hype, and that could make you want to come back for more. And there's that whole production value inside of that. And
exactly, especially because like people that don't understand the game even at its fundamentals, and I'm going to reference Don't Park on the Grass again because it was another beautiful example of exactly what this is, but Ice versus None, that last stock where None gets a really nice string on ice and ends it with that fast fall down air to seal what was, I think the set went to game 5. It was,
that was game 5.
It was a slobber knocker pretty much. So to hear the commentary from Vish and Homemade Waffles, because you could watch, and it's like, put it on mute and tell me if you understand what you're watching. Put it on mute and you watch that and you think, okay, so this guy just killed this guy. And
of course.
The game's over.
Right.
You don't understand, the amount of insanity that was, how great the string was, or how close the game was, how Ice threw it away at the end with the back air that saved None. The exact circumstances, the skill, the magnitude of what you just watched, you'd lose that without the commentary going, oh my god, Ice, no.
Absolutely.
It's like...
Absolutely.
That spirit, it's like, it just was like shooting energy into you, and when you hear the game end and the commentary and then the crowd erupts, it completes the experience of what you just saw. Like the sense of sound in that case was just as important, if not more important, than your sight. And we need, commentators for that. Anything else to add?
Yeah. No, in terms of that, I think that's basically all of it. But yeah, totally. It adds to the experience, and we would be in a much different spot without it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, so Prague, I asked the questions that we're going to be talking about, and Prague Ducto, granddaddy commentator of Smash, him, D1, I want to say, like, you can track back as far as, like, him, D1, like, Doggy
Nebulous.
Sandwich.
Doggy Sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about him. He was all right,
He was like early Apex days, dude. Like I would say early, like 2012, 2011. Like I remember the first. I think Apex 2013. One of the earliest Melee videos I watched was USA versus the World at the Apexes. And Doggy Sandwich.
That's one of the
Prague.
first things I saw too.
I remember for one of them, Prague put on like a fake accent and started acting like the World. He was rooting for the World.
I remember that.
Bias was cool.
Back when Bias was totally fine,
Yeah.
I remember that.
And it's still fine. It just depends
alright.
the level. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, we can get
We
to that
definitely
further
have that
down
on
because
topic.
there's that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
So
on here.
Product says, as competitive gaming has become more of a wave and less of a hobby or phase, commentary is more and more of a necessity. You have to present what's going on to the world, and it doesn't just mean the world of gaming or that specific scene. With thousands of viewers, some are going to be well versed, some aren't, but all are listening. Commentary is the GPS of a set. Everyone approaches it different and has certain merits that they value more than other things, but at the end of the day, the goal is to do three things: enlighten the listeners, educate them, and entertain them. You want to handle the veterans, but you also want to do what you can so that newcomers and listeners aren't lost in the process. Which is very true.
Very
That
true.
takes it from the entertainment aspect. You know, that definitely tells the story of like what commentators are expected to do, and I want to say in a slightly more specific, more I want to say like true to the art way. But yeah, it was like you can combine what he said with the fact that commentators are there just to tell you what's happening, you know, to keep you listening and all that. Okay, so this focuses us into, you know, the we talked about what commentary is. Now we need to focus on pretty much, you know, what it is
How does it work?
at a
Right.
performance level. Yeah,
Mhm.
how it works. So that topic here is, how does commentary work? Why is it better to have multiple casters as opposed to one? Is there a point where you reach too many casters, etc.? Now, my personal opinion is that it all depends of the burden at hand. Now,
Yeah.
you can take a look, and it also depends on the style of commentary. Um, I want to say the go-to is two commentators. Um, and that's because it's like you always want to keep. I like it because it's like when you think of commentary and radio, you think of, you know, you can take the words and make it your imagination. You know, your imagination fills in the blanks, and it does so much for you because you experience it the way you would in your head.
Right.
And that's good to have more than one, for the sense that you have essentially like a wider variety of interpretations. Also, sometimes, you know, you need someone to talk when you're running out of things to say. You know what I mean? It's
Someone's
like,
gonna cover you there. Yeah.
exactly, someone's got to cover your ass. You can only talk for so long. Don't want to lose your voice. You know, you got
Absolutely.
a lot to say, a lot to explain, and you know, it also helps that it's not so fucking ads. It's not so whatchamacallit. It's not so 50-50. When you're commentating, there's going to be people that enjoy your commentary and people that don't enjoy your commentary.
Of course, always.
So when you have more than one personality on commentary, it gives the viewer a wider, you know, amount of options and a much bigger grasp. Whereas, you know, I would like, let's put it this way, like when I listen to commentary, I enjoy Scar. You know what I mean? I really like
I love
the
Scar.
amount of in-depth knowledge. Even though his hype can come off as a little stale sometimes, like you can tell he's genuinely interested in the game. It's kind of just a part of who he is. And versus someone, I'm gonna have to play devil's advocate. I really enjoy a lot of the commentary. Let's say D1, okay, for whatever reason, D1. I can't even really name anything, but let's say you don't like D1, but you love Scar. Okay, D1 and Scar are commented together, and it's like, well, I'm not really entertained whenever D1 has anything to say, but at least Scar is here, and you're gonna listen to Scar, and you're gonna watch. You know, you're gonna continue watching and continue listening to hear what Scar has to say. And some people are going to say, well, I don't like Scar, you know, insert your complaints here, but I really like this D1 guy. So, you know, you continue watching, continue enjoying, and you kind of listen to what Scar has to say, but you really, you know, find yourself enveloped in the whole experience whenever D1 is telling you what's happening. So, that's why it's good to have more than one commentator. And, you know, one person can hold it down as well, but at the same time, that's, you know, when the game doesn't take so much to explain, you know, when you're broadcasting to, you know, a lesser audience, and one person can just, kind of go at their own pace. It all depends the style and the feel. You know, a slower and more relaxed commentary by one person will accompany a slower and more relaxed tournament, a slower and more relaxed feel. You know, the locals.
Melee on Monday
yeah,
is such a good example of that.
Melee on Monday, other locals pretty much all around the world.
Yeah.
If I ever decide to commentate my own Melee, play when I'm playing net play,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
It's so casual, something happens, you're like, oh, that guy's sick, and you're just hanging out, and there's people in the chat, you're sitting with somebody next to you, and you're just enjoying the game, enjoying the local. And there's obviously a whole different level of seriousness when it comes to locals versus when it comes to regionals versus when it comes to majors, but I think that it totally depends on the mood of the setting, on how many casters is too many, too little.
Yeah, now, if you're talking about, in terms of casters, too many casters is when people start getting in the way of each other, and it's not avoidable. Let's take, for example...
Example.
Yes, let's take, for example...
Do you want to talk about the couch, or do you have another example?
Well, I was going to talk about the Smash Summit couch, but here's the thing, is that both, like, a lot of commentators can both simultaneously be a good and a bad thing. Now, if you have an example of the bad, let me know, but I'm going to talk about why 4 people on a couch for Smash Summit is good. Because Smash Summit isn't, like, it is technically a high-stakes tournament, but this isn't a tournament featuring thousands of people. This isn't a tournament, like the entire Smash Summit as a whole is meant for the in-crowd, is meant for the people that know what's going on. These people stay at that, like, for Christ's sakes, they stream the Smashers and, and the other staff playing Mafia. So obviously you're not going to be interested in that unless you know who everyone is, or, who most people are. You watch
Right.
for the people. A lot of people are going to watch big tournaments to watch for the the competitive play, whereas people who watch Smash Summit are going to watch for the Smashers themselves. And that's why I can see having 4 people on a couch is good, is because you've seen, like, I want to say the couch, it was like Vish, Lovage, Moon, and Leffen. I think that was a couch. I could be wrong. Or it was like none, Leffen, Moon, Lovage. All I know is that like you found good commentary combinations in like Leffen and Moon, etc. But this is meant to put the personalities on display. That's why it's a super good idea to, or like it was good to have that many people on the couch. Now, if you try to put 4 people on at Evo, if you try to put 4 people on at Big House, maybe one of the big 3, Genesis, you're gonna have too many conflicting styles. You're gonna have too many conflicting, too many people with too many things to say.
Right.
A game of Melee is on average 3 to 4 minutes. A little bit longer if you're doing a floaty matchup. You can only say so much in this 3 to 4 minutes. Here we are talking for about 20 minutes already, and we're just 2 people. Whereas, so it's like me and you, we could have commentated, on average, like, upwards of, I'm bad at math, lol, 6 games of Melee already. You know what I mean? And it's been a lot of just me and you. So if you add 2 more people with 3-minute opinions on what's going on, all of a sudden, there's all the commentary none of the time. It's, supply and demand. If you supply too much commentary, then it outdoes the demand, and then it's like, there's so much that goes to waste.
Right. And then if every single person were to throw in their thought, right, by the time the last person gets their thought in,
it's an afterthought.
And Melee's a fast game.
Yeah.
And you can already get, oh, thank you, D1, for tweeting out the stream.
D1 the homie.
D1 the homie went out and I totally just dropped my train of thought. Oh yeah, by the time you get to the last person's thought, you get to a point where, back up? Is everything alright?
No, I'm saying back it up, collect your thoughts.
Oh, I thought you meant like something is disconnecting. But yeah, so like you get to a point where the last person's like, projecting their thought, and then it's like, oh wait, hold on, 3 more stocks are gone. We've been dwelling on this one subject for too long, and so many more plays are left to cover, but we're still dwelling on a past play, you know? And that's where if you want to get through enough material fast, and that's what 2 is really good for.
Yeah, and also it's like, in contrast to that, let's say you have 4 people and that's not a problem, you know. It's not 4 people giving thoughts on the same play, but rather almost like a rotation of one person says something about this, the next person about this, the next person about this. Next thing you know, you never get the chance to be attached to one personality, and there's no real hold on, you know, the commentary, like the personality aspect of the commentary. The person that you're listening to talk, it's like they don't really establish an identity, and that's not too great for the infrastructure of commentary, of, you know, commentators being like considered, I want to say, you know, some better than other, good or bad, you know, who, it's like saying, who do I hire? If you have so many people in commentary that can only get so much exposure, you know, that
Oh, of course.
starts to blur the lines a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. But back onto the Smash couch at the.
You there? I can't hear you, James. Help me, man. Uh-oh.
Oh no. Did the stream go down?
I don't know. Did your stream go down?
I don't think so. Oh, wait.
Your stream went
Wait.
down. I'm still good,
Damn
though.
it. That's weird. Okay.
If you want,
Well, I'm gonna...
try to include my stream in your title or
title.
link or whatever. Yeah.
I actually completely forgot to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can change my dashboard around. But let me just make sure I'm live again, then I'll go ahead and change the title to your stream name too. For a more consistent stream. I don't know why, the past couple of days it's been going down, it's been pissing me off. Now there is...
There is. Are you back? Are we good? We're all good? We're back? We're good? We're great?
What the... Oh my god. These sounds, everything's going on. Production value. Okay. God. Alright.
Gee, aren't technical difficulties the best? Alright, well, with that, I think for my stream, at least, while you get that done, I'm going to read out Prog's opinion. Maybe if D1 is so kind, if he were to actually watch my stream instead, you know, at least for, I want to say at least for stability reasons, we could possibly even get his opinion in on this as well.
That'd be great.
But Prog's opinion on that topic is, in terms of numbers, my whole thing is that the commentary for an event should equal the vibe of it. If it's a local, laid back, yeah, you can be lax, you can try new things and experiment. Solo casting is effective, but is difficult carrying the entire set solo, plus not everyone is best suited for that. Radio 2 might be the magic number that we see, and that's often what we see in traditional sports. We get a color commentator and a play-by-play. Sometimes a third can be added, but the balance is hard to reach as you have 3 people going to input things, and often one is left as the third wheel. As for 4, I normally agree that 4 is definitely too many. 4 is more of a number for an analyst desks or a preview like we saw at G3, but again, depends on the situation. The Summit Couch isn't so much about the commentary as it is about the interaction between the folks seeing their personalities clash, so 4 is fine in that situation. Everything should go off of the feel of the event. Commentators are doing their best to capture the feel and regurgitate it in that moment. Will more than 4 work? I'm sure if that is possible, but at this point, I think that most would agree resources aren't best spent figuring out how to manage more pairs, additional language streams, over how to fit more bodies at a desk. That's actually something we didn't touch on that I'm glad that Prog did, is that adding so many people to commentary, you can only capture so many people. It only does so much. It's something that plateaus. It's something that, you know, will help, will hurt. Now, Prog makes a huge point, is that alternative language commentary, to put it simply, there is perhaps no more important. Well, it's like, let me put it this way: professional wrestling commentary is huge in professional wrestling.
Oh yes, yes it is.
There is like three. If wrestling was separated into thirds, it would be the wrestlers, the staff, the commentators. You know, and other on-screen personalities. The commentators are
Right,
huge
right,
in
right.
wrestling, and if you ever watch a WWE pay-per-view, they'll introduce their commentators of other desks on the English side. So you'll have they literally have Japanese commentary, Russian commentary, Spanish commentary, German commentary, American commentary. They have so many languages because
Right.
WWE has a very big outreach. So Prague is true. It's best to spend your resources rather than doing 3, 4 people doing commentary. Let the pair take it. You know, that's what if two people can take a an NFL game being watched by thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon millions,
Right.
then two people can take a Smash tournament, and then on top of that, to have two people take a Smash tournament for people that speak English, for people that speak Spanish, for people that speak Japanese, for people that speak Swedish, French. You know, you could go down the list of like scene sizes.
Yeah.
That's super important. I remember, I'm not exactly sure what tournament it is, but I recall there being on VG Bootcamp 2 a Spanish commentary desk featuring Nun
Yes.
and DJ Nintendo, which was
They've
absolutely smart.
they've done that a couple times now. I think maybe
Yeah,
two
I
or
remember
three.
it was more than once.
Yeah, more than once. But they're definitely doing very well in that department. But now Nunn is a pretty good player, so if he ever lands top 8, it's gonna be a little rough for him to get a replacement co-caster. But I mean, the whole idea of having the side stream for Spanish commentary is really cool.
Well, I'm sure there's plenty of people that speak Spanish that can also do commentary. I don't think it's limited to just like
Oh,
DJ
of
and Nun.
course, but they're the best so far.
So
Because
far,
they're the only two with the national level experience. But
I was gonna
once you
say,
get somebody out there, I'm sure they'll be just fine.
yeah, I'm sure
Uh,
there's someone better, like out there that's even better than them. But for now, that's what we have to work with.
of course. But yeah, I mean, finishing up on the subject, I guess, because we read Parag's
We read Parks
analysis,
Answer.
and it's
So yeah,
always
any
so
lasting
good.
thoughts? Any last thoughts?
Not much for me. I really like the whole. I kind of like how we went over how it kind of scales depending on the environment, depending on
Yeah.
if you're looking for personalities at Smash Summit versus you're at Evo and you're looking for analysis and hype. Right?
And that's actually our next topic, which is, we were talking about watching personalities for them. We were talking about how many personalities at a commentary role, works. Now let's talk about the personalities themselves. So topic is, how do commentator personalities work? List the type of casters and how they work with each other, hype, analyst, comedian, etc. Which roles have good synergy with each other, and which roles don't work well together. Is it bad to have two casters with the same role? Okay, so how do commentator personalities work? Well, how do people work? You know what I'm saying? It's like
Exactly.
literally you make an emotional connection with a personality because you were talking to that person. You find out who they are, and it's like, now you can watch something for you can watch something for the product, for Smash, for competitive play, but at the same time, the person that's going to convey it to you, you're also going to find yourself slowly, like, it's like their personality and who they are and the way they speak, the things they say, how they go about things, is going to attach itself to your experience. It is going to become almost like synonymous with the tournament for you. And so it's very like, that's how the personalities have their place in commentary. As for kinds of casters, I don't want to say there's types, because it's like, you can think of people that are hype, you can think of people that are analysts, you can think of people that are that try to be funny on, but it's like there's
Yeah.
always a happy medium to everything. There's always a give and a take. Whereas you can find someone like Homemade Waffles, who's, I would say, partial hype, partial comedian. You know what I'm saying? Or someone Scar, who's partial hype, partial analyst. You know what I'm saying? Really, what it depends on is, again, the individual personality. But you'll find these things in commentary depth of game knowledge. I want to say the in crowd again, but it's like community, normal community jargon, like things we say that have alternative definitions that people don't know, or things that we make a wave dashing, out canceling, etc. You'll find the vocabulary we use.
Yeah.
And it's also just like you'll see how they react to the game. So you'll find knowledge of the game, knowledge of the community, and also, I want to say, like, just core hype, something to get your blood pumping. So which roles have good synergy with each other and which roles don't work well together. I'm going to track that back again to say that it doesn't matter based, like, the role. It really matters the people, and how they play off of each other. So we have that as a topic later, so I want to come back to that. And is it bad to have two casters with the same role? Now, for this, we should take a look at like actual commentary roles, and the main two are play-by-play and color commentator. And I'm actually going to look up the definitions for these so we can get like good grounds for these. Common commentator definition. A color commentator is a North American term for a sports commentator who assists the main commentator, aka the play-by-play, often by filling in any time when play is not in progress. In other regions, this role is variously referred to as an analyst or summarizer. So,
interesting. Now, you know what? I've actually never heard that term until Prague brought it up in his answer when I just skimmed it over. So I actually had never heard color commentator before. I guess that might just be me not having enough knowledge.
Yeah, watch a lot of pro wrestling. You'll hear it.
Yeah, I haven't heard that a lot.
Yeah,
but,
here's another answer. An announcer, especially in sports, who provides supplementary information or comment, also called color commentator, etc., etc. So you have the So that's what I want to focus on here is color commentary and play-by-play. Now let me get the play-by-play definition for contrast. Play-by-play commentator.
My friggin' Facebook is blowing up, and I don't feel like going through and disabling notifications, so my chat just keeps going bloop, bloop, bloop.
Take it out, man.
It's not making a sound, luckily.
In sports broadcasting, I'm going to interrupt you because this
is
more important.
Yeah, you're right. It's more important. Go on.
A sports commentator, also known as sports announcer, sportscaster, or play-by-play announcer, often called shoutcaster in esports specifically. I don't know why, that just kind of hits me as funny. Gives running commentary of a game or event in real time, usually during a live broadcast, traditionally delivered in the historical present tense. So, the traditional two sides of the commentary desk is the person who tells you what you're watching and the person who fills in the gaps. And this'll the color like the play-by-play announcer, I wouldn't say is restrictive, but I can tell you right now, like, you know what you need to say. As for a color commentator, you definitely fill in with like a lot of different things. You can talk about the players in particular, things you heard, things you've asked about. I've interviewed this person and they said this, or they need to. It's like it's so cool because it's almost like I kind of want to say play-by-play announcer is almost like the bread of a sandwich. It kind of holds everything together. And you get to be the meat and potatoes, man.
In terms of color.
Yeah, so let's see. Did I cover everything? Yeah, so really, it's not even about whether, like, there's roles that have good synergy with each other. It's really about the kind of people. Like, we've seen examples of, like, two lesser experienced commentators constantly talking over each other. One person is a little off the wall, so to speak. And, the other person just got to deal with it or
try to adapt.
Yeah, and then you have commentators that really do know each other well that, can do so, like Scar and Toph. They've been commentating together for long. And so, and they're such good friends that they play off of each other so well.
Yeah, they
And
don't even have to discuss anything ahead of time. They don't have to do any preparation.
yeah.
I mean, of course, I don't like to assume maybe they do, but they could sit down and probably do any type of work and it'd be good work,
Oh, I'm sure
just because
they
of their
could go in
synergy.
blind and do just fine.
Yeah,
But yeah. So it really is like we're gonna get to a much better, much more wholesome answer to that. But
yeah.
it really matters based on the people themselves. So what do you have to say, sir?
Well, that was well said by you. Turning the whole idea of instead of like a type, more like a synergy kind of thing between the casters themselves. Um, Adaptability, super important with that. If you're a caster just brand new and you're trying to just commentate with this guy, you don't know anything about him, you get put on the schedule for pools and a major and you sit down, you just shake their hand and put on the headset. It's pretty hard. So obviously you have to it's almost like playing a match yourself where you adapt to your co-commentators' habits and abilities and you just try to work around that. And that's
Yeah.
something that a lot of good commentators can do.
And I actually want to interrupt real quick to have an example of that. I remember
Yeah.
back, I this was the first set I had commentated at Do or Di. The regional in Atlantic City. Well, it was like a mini major. I wish it had
Yeah.
more. It deserved more people. But
It did.
I had sat down. This was before I commentated top 8 with you. I had sat down
Mhm.
and someone else sat down, and me, I take commentary semi seriously. It's like I don't go in trying as hard as I absolutely can, but I definitely don't go in there to just f around.
Right.
Now, I sat down and did the best I could, and I found myself needing to adapt to this. Like, first of all, I was sat down with a Smash 4 player. He really didn't know half of what he was talking about. There was a lot of questions. It wasn't really it wasn't really commentary. It was more like he was saying
Right.
what he felt like was commentary, and I had to work around that. I found myself trying to be a little bit more quiet so he could get out what he could say. If I needed to correct or anything, try to work my way through it, not saying, "Oh, that's wrong," but this is, you know. It was like another, example or give or take. I tried to do my best to just compliment him in the best way that I could, and I hope if he ever does commentary in the future, and as it's been quite some time since that he, has continued to do it for the game that he loves. If he does it for Melee, that he's learned more about the game and that he's, like I wish him the best. But that was definitely a challenge where I had to adapt to what he
Right.
had to say.
Right.
Anyway, continue.
No, yeah. For an example for myself, I commentated at Shine 2016, and I opened up the entire stream, right? So, um, I look, I apply for the whole commentary position for whatever. I honestly say I can commentate singles, doubles, crews. I'll put whatever. Just please put me in a block. I would really appreciate the opportunity, right? And I get in, no problem. Great. So I get shout outs to this guy, CCO. Um, he is next to my name on the little commentary block schedule, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I go, I've never heard of this guy before. I have no idea who the heck he is, right? And I go on YouTube, right? Because actually, Tafakins and Crimson Blur, I think, did a really good stream about this. What they did was they sat down and talked about how the commentary schedule maybe wasn't the best thing they could do, or the whole allowing too many new people. I don't remember the whole thing about it. I'm not going to assume the wrong things. But the base of it was Tafkins brought up a really good point about where you need to at least build a little bit of chemistry, which is what he likes to do. He likes to talk to his co-commentator before he sits down with them in the first place for the first time. How do you describe yourself? And they start talking to them. How are you? What's your name? Let's talk a little bit. Get to know the person just a little bit better. So when you sit down, it's a slightly easier time trying to adapt to them, because if you're just stuck there on the spot, it's not a good performance. But anyway, I look him up. He's got a couple locals, right? He's from Canada. And I go, wow, my co-commentator is going to be from Canada. That's crazy, I have no way of contacting this guy to talk to him a little bit. So I just walked into Shine Blind. I walked into Shine Blind, and I walked up to the stage at 10 o'clock in the morning. That was my block, and there he was standing there, and we shook hands and put on the headset, and that was really difficult to do. In hindsight, that was one of the harder things I ever had to do. Not only was I nervous because, of course, it's VG Bootcamp stream, but it was also trying to figure out at the same time what my co-commentator is doing, talking about what he's trying to convey. And of course, the commentary that I found of him was locals, laid back environment, which is completely different from what I'm about to do at that exact moment, right? So it was very hard to adapt, but I think we made it work pretty well looking back on the videos, but it was definitely hard to do. And yeah, that's the little story I had. But I think that's everything I have to say for this.
Yeah, so let me read what Prague had to say. He says, I really hate saying that there are commentary archetypes, as no matter what, the goal is to provide a balance. At their core, there are really just two types, and it's more about their purpose, the educator and the entertainer, which is, I would say, the educator being the play-by-play, and the entertainer being the color commentator. Traditional sports don't often have analysts trying to break things down over an extended period of time unless it's at an analyst's desk, so you might have 7 or so seconds of breakdown. But it's a play-by-play guy going over a replay. Anyway, I basically break down the commentators into two schools, the educator and the entertainer. The traditional play-by-play announcer, educator, breaking down what's happening moment by moment. The guy like Wobbles and Lovage who talk about situations at a high level, frame data, choices, hitboxes, etc. Even how I'd break down the history of players prior to a set, whether head-to-head or in general, would be under that education nomenclature. To contrast it, you have the entertainer, and I liked how he name-dropped Wobbles and Lovage, and I like the little pattern, is that typically you'll find a lot of really good play-by-play / educator types in people who are, like, top player types as well, like Wobbles, being one of the best ICs of all time, Lovage being a top player back in his heyday. Mango is another really good example of that. I love listening to Mango's commentary.
He's funny too.
Yeah, Leffen's a fairly good commentator as well. So you find yourself with people who can bring their knowledge about the game that they use in game to to the commentary desk.
And it's really nice to be able to pick up on that as a viewer, right?
Yeah.
To be like, oh, wow, this is definitely what's going through his head right now. And he's able to tell me this. Usually you just kind of see him laughing when something stupid happens in the background behind the CRT. But this time you actually get to hear what he's thinking. And it's really cool.
And then to contrast it, you have the entertainer. We hear folks who are filled with tons of charisma, some hyping up the set, some cracking jokes. But as they try to keep things loose and fun, they are accomplishing their goal. Any game from outside can look intimidating, and if you have no idea what's going on, you might leave. These people will keep you entertained enough because of how infectious their personality / wit / charm are, and sometimes when the game won't keep folks tuned in, their personalities will. And that's actually something that we touched on, I didn't quite cover in depth, is that where I was saying earlier, the people that are in the community versus the people that aren't in the community, to put it in a little bit better set of words, it's the hardcore versus the casuals, where the play-by-play announcer and the person that's speaking frame data, choices, hitboxes, etc. Well, I wouldn't say it's the same thing, but I would definitely say it's like subsections of each. Where the person speaking high-level frame choices, frame data, choices, etc. That caters to the hardcore people of the community. The people that go to teach things, to learn, and already know all these things, already know who what they're watching. And then there's the color commentator, which can cater more towards the casual side, the people that don't care so much for all of the fancy schmancy percents and exactly how the mechanics of the game work. Versus, that was a really fucking cool combo. You know what I mean?
Right.
The ones that keep it simple and just watch for the entertainment of it, just because they like the way it looks, the way it sounds, the way it is, the feel, that entertainment aspect. So I like that he covered that. And also, the goal of a broadcast pairing is to balance both sides, but many seem to think that you have to have one of each style to do that. If you listen in, most people are able to play both sides of the fence, but they prefer a certain approach or angle. As often as Wobbles drops gems, just as many people praise his dry humor and wit. Yipes might be the most charismatic individual on the mic, but you will hear him talk about punishes, background, team composition, strategy, etc. Is it bad to have casters with the same role? No, but you might challenge them to work out of their comfort zone. Rather than worry about roles in commentary, a lot of folks need to worry about finding a partner. Commentary is a conversation between two people who in that moment are fans, and if they are talking over each other or not talking at all, that's higher priority than finding archetypes. Everything is according to taste. You'll hear from everyone who likes you on the mic and hates you on it. Some people aren't going to be educated, others aren't looking to be entertained.
Right. That's very well said. I think the whole getting out of the comfort zone thing, very interesting that he said that, because I wasn't even thinking about that.
Super good idea.
Super good idea, and it helps you get better as a commentator, of course, if you're out of your comfort zone. That's the only way you can improve. The only way you can get somewhere is if you step slightly out of your comfort zone.
And I would actually go as far to say that your worth as a commentator, or well, rather your let's say your viability as a commentator is heavily carried by your versatility.
I agree. Definitely.
Yeah, if you aren't able to fill in any role that needs you, you're going to be missing out.
Right, of course. Because if you can only focus on one thing, and that one thing, let's just say, is being loud, and you don't break things down, and you can't adapt to that, or you can't change yourself to break that habit where, you see a Captain Falcon just do a stomp, and then you start incoherently screaming, even though it's just a down air from a Captain Falcon, right? You don't talk about, the read on the roll, or you don't talk about anything, or assuming everything Ganondorf does is disrespectful, etc.
And that's why it's super important to find a partner, because one of the reasons that you want to be versatile is because that partner is going to have their gaps in their commentary. They're going to have the parts that they are weaker on others, and so are you. So I feel like as a partner, your job is to be able to make up for that and be able to essentially take each other and raise each other up and make each other better as a whole, rather than just simple individuals. And then also you want to be able to maintain, like, I can commentate this well no matter who you put on the desk with me.
Right.
But at the same time, being able to have that partner, or being able to have multiple partners, to commentate with, and really like help each other shine. You know what I'm saying? Emphasize the strengths.
Definitely. Instead of focusing on the weaknesses, emphasizing the strengths, very important. It's a team effort. It's not one guy and one guy talking. It's one team talking to you, right?
Yeah.
And that general mindset has to be focused on a lot when commentating at a higher level.
Yeah, and my weakness in particular is like sometimes I won't always have my thoughts complete. I'm pretty good at improvisation, so I can move my thoughts forward as I go at a pretty decent pace, but sometimes I'll find myself using the same words. Like when we first started, I kept saying essentially over and over again. I say a lot. Like I get wrapped up in my diction, and that's not good sometimes.
Right.
Like, what's a weakness that you have?
Weaknesses I have. Well, a big one is that I've had times where I cut people off in really bad spots. I've done that. I'm getting a lot better with it now, because now I'm always consciously thinking about it, because I burn that into my brain. But I was just recently watching my Nebulous monthly commentary where I commentated top 8 with Maybe. And there is times where I would literally just assume that I had a better control of whatever the situation was, and I would just talk over him on accident. I wasn't consciously thinking about it, but I would talk over him, and then I looked back and I'm like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. I did that at Shine a couple times. I did it at Zero DI a couple times, but lately it's been getting a lot better. You have to sit there, you have to wait, let your co-commentator finish their thought, and then start your thought again, and then a nice little alternation between the two is so good. But that's something that I've still been working on.
Yeah. So you're gonna love me here, because that actually transitions right into our next topic.
Yeah, you're really good at this transition.
Oh God, just call me Mr. Transition. That'd be the weirdest fucking name. What is the worst habits you can think of that beginner commentators have? And hell, you could actually really expand this to all commentators.
Yeah.
Examples you provided were cutting off the co-commentator, dead silence, spam a blank in the chat / answering chat, only applies to mid to high level, majors, regionals, etc. Locals don't matter too much. Filler words like so, simple phrases like nice back air, where we can check out SSBM commentator on Twitter.
Yeah, I could literally look at that and just...
I actually might pull some up. And how can those guilty of these habits change them?
Totally on Twitter right now.
Yeah, I'm actually about to go to Twitter as well.
The pinned tweet, of course.
Are you
nice
already
back
up,
air.
are you already up there? Because I'm going to start giving my opinion if you're already up there.
I'm already up there, yeah.
Okay, so let's see. What do we got here?
I like how the picture is Scar. Do you want me to start reading these off? There's the bingo board. I think the bingo board is definitely very, very funny to look at.
Yeah. Well, let me give some of my points, and when I get to the simple phrases, that's when we can start having some fun.
Yeah, you go right ahead.
Right. So worst habits I can think of that commentators have: running over each other, or it's like they can't get the ebb and flow of, hey, this person talks, hey, this person talks, hey, this person talks, hey, this person talks. So when both try to talk at the same time or none try to talk at all, that's way too much. So yeah, cutting off your co-commentator, dead silence, constant memeing.
Oh god, constant memeing hurts me so much.
Yeah, you don't want to make this constant memeing, saying the same thing over and over until it's like beating a dead horse, like Pikachu's up smash is the strongest uncharged up smash in the game, like several times in the same set.
Oh man, that happens, and of course,
it's cool.
That's something you can say once.
It's cool if you mention it from set to set, because you never know who's going to tune in now and who's tuning in later. It's cool if you say it when it's used. It's cool if you say it in comparison, but pick a time to say it, because when it's the 80th time that I've heard Pikachu has the strongest uncharged up smash in the game.
And you can just reword it. You can easily just say, like, you know, Pikachu could go for an up smash, let's just say, for example, on a Fox or on a Puff, and be like, that's going to kill slightly before Fox's does. So that's going to obviously, you know, I say anything. Literally anything.
Yeah,
because if you just say it over and over again, it's just going to...
So
I hate that phrase. That's actually such a good example.
Saying the same thing over and over and over again. And what else? There was one really good one. Talking about and like going on about things that don't have a single damn thing to do with the game, especially like that's okay at lower level, in between time, like when people are doing counter picks. But if you continue to go on with your joke references for so long and hardly talk about the game whatsoever, or start talking about something completely irrelevant, something that doesn't have to do with either player or the game whatsoever, or, you know...
Like how you did in tournament?
Yeah, to the point... Wait, what? What did you say?
Like how you do in pools, or like at a tournament, or like how you do in bracket, you start talking about, like, I lost Puff.
It's like, meanwhile... It's like, meanwhile, you're watching, you know, winners top 32, Swedish Delight versus... who would be... Swedish Delight...
Can you play Hunger
I wouldn't say top 32, I would say that's like top 16. Top 32, fuck it. Swedish Delight versus Hungry Bucks.
Let's just say it, whatever. Maybe Evo.
I was trying to think of a good mid level. So like Swedish Delight versus Kalamazoo.
Okay, that's fair.
You know, where you have like a top level, mid level player, you know, it's like it's up there, but it's not all the way up there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then that's when you get, it's like, oh, hey, how'd you do in pools? Oh, you know, I got third, I did all right. I advanced to round 2 winners, and it's like, you know, then I had to play Sheik, and then it's like, it was like less talk, less game. It was awesome. Meanwhile, you know, Kalamazoo is upsetting Swedish Delight, or Swedish Delight
and he pulls
just
a bomb or something.
Yeah, or Swedish Delight just crushed Kalamazoo, and it was like combo after combo. No one cares about your pool experience. We're trying to watch the match, so
yeah, because at the end of the day, the commentator's not sitting in the chair.
That's another huge issue. That was pretty much the number one issue watching Scar and Toph commentate Big House 3, is that they would just go on these tangents that wouldn't freaking stop.
Mm-hmm.
And God, when I it's like if you ever watch commentary on the Big House 3 and then Scar and Toph at the Big House 4, holy shit, it's like night and day.
Yeah, you know what?
Shout outs to
I
them. It
shouts
took
to
them
them.
1 year, and they they went Super Saiyan. Holy crap! Their commentary got so damn good. They went from being like I enjoyed their commentary at the Big House 3 because I had no effing clue what was going on. Because the Big House 3 had already finished, and I was just getting into the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas their commentary at the Big House 4, I was already seasoned. I was definitely a marinated chicken, not raw chicken.
Marinated chicken.
Marinated chicken.
Rolled in breadcrumbs.
Rolled in breadcrumbs, egg batter, everything lightly fried.
All right. Now you're making me hungry. Stop.
Not on the plate yet, but we're still cooking out here.
We're preheating the oven.
Yeah.
Go on.
So I super appreciated how they matured into the commentators that they are today, because it went from me enjoying their commentary because I had no clue what good commentary was, and then me enjoying their commentary because, hey, I'm a more mature player now. I know what the situation is, and now all of a sudden their commentary fits that because they worked on it, and that was very good of them. So that actually can help me with the end of the question. How can those guilty of these habits change them? Well, practice. Continue to practice. Limit yourself if you have to, and limit yourself not in the sense that make it difficult, but try to practice commentating without a specific phrase. Or let's say you typically are used to play by play at your locals. You say everything all the time and let the other person fill in, but you start commentary with Fendrick Lamar or Crimson Blur, who are the play-by-play guys,
Yes.
that are more experienced than you are. Now, you have to take a back seat. You're not gonna, if you want to improve, you're not gonna try to play-by-play over them. You're not gonna have them adapt to you. What you're gonna do is you're gonna play color commentator, or you're gonna play the much more silent commentator. Maybe you talk a little bit more than your average commentator, but maybe not. But it's like, the ebb and flow that you guys have, you need to practice letting them fill in. Because all of a sudden now, you're being quiet when you're supposed to. Now, when you're at a local with another person who is less experienced play-by-play commentator, you guys aren't constantly running over each other.
Right.
And both of you can get this. And that's just what it takes, is that practice and like sniping out your issues.
Mm-hmm.
And words like so me, I'm not too bad with that. Like I don't hate that too much. It's really bad when you start to say oh, I like think about it, when Ice backyard none he saved his life. That's that's a bit much.
Like life insurance.
Like life insurance. So
But yeah.
When you say filler kind of sucks, I was taught in theater not to say those things, especially in improv. Sometimes silence is good for that, but at the same time, I can see the utility in it. It lets your co-commentator know that you're not done your thought, you're just trying to fill in the words. So to use them too much, it can hurt. But being able to use them like I just did there, it helped me get my brain moving. Hints and little pinches of it, not bad. Everyone does that. I can't think of one person whose diction and vernacular is so good that they never use a or so.
Yeah,
and
it
if
happens
there
to the
is,
best of us.
congratulations, you're officially the sage.
Yeah, seriously.
Simple phrases. Time to play some SSBM commentator bingo.
Oh,
Simple
yes.
phrases like nice back air, good up smash, great this, yeah, thumbs up, man, twinkle in the teeth. It's
I mean, there's so many things.
Here and there.
Some things work, right? Some things work.
Try.
You can say certain things. Sorry. You can say certain things over and over again a little bit. You can get to a point where you say something like let's just say right now in relevancy, that's not safe is a really, really funny thing right now. because it's been everywhere. Now that the moon's getting so big, it's always been a thing, but now the moon has been improving himself even more and more, getting more popular.
Yeah.
Now his ideas of saying that's not safe to everyone at Smash Summit. Of course, you can't overly meme, but you can say it. It's not a bad thing to say once, you know. And when you're watching Mew King on FD, all he needs is one grab. You can say that. Um, Last stock type battle, yeah, that's been overused a lot. Commentator's curse, I think it's okay to say every once in a while. There's certain things that you can use in moderation, but you can't say it every single set, every single game.
You can't say commentator's curse every time someone gets freaking down throw, down tilted, and dies because you said, wow, he's really good at avoiding the gimps. You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, you can't say, oh, commentator's curse every time a commentator's curse happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta move on and, you know, roll with the times. Also, what was
And
another
rewording.
one? That's not safe. That's the thing, though, is that that's not safe. You can say that.
Yeah.
But if you always just say, that's not safe, and that's that, like, okay, you know,
Then you start
I
memeing,
get
and it's
it.
bad.
Sometimes you gotta say why it's not safe.
Of course.
You know, let's say Mengo double lasers from the ledge 30 times in a game like he normally does. You can say that's not safe, that's not safe, that's not safe, that's not safe, and at some point it's like, dude, we get it, it's not safe. Like, like especially at the Smash Summit, and this I'm not gonna be hard on Smash Summit. It's a lot more relaxed. But like, let's say Smash Summit was a tournament, I would slam my head into the wall because I get it. It's not safe. You guys told me every single time. In fact, it got to the point where when I saw Mango double laser, I started going, "That's not safe."
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking in the back of my head too. Right? But I was watching. I don't know if you saw this video recently. There's a video that someone posted of every single time Mango gets
Oh yeah,
punished
no,
for
I
double
watched
lasering
it.
off
I watched
the
the whole
ledge.
thing.
And so the thing that sticks out to me, right, is when Mewtwo King will crouch cancel the laser and then reverse up B, or maybe he just reverse up B's out of shield. I don't really remember. What
The,
he does. It's
the
either
funny
CC
thing
or
is,
reverse
I
up B.
actually, I'm sorry to interrupt, but when I
okay.
played Marth, and still even if I play Marth against Spaceys, and I play a Falco who I know double lasers from the ledge, I'll be like in my head when I hit them to the ledge, okay, watch out for the double laser from the ledge and get ready to react with an up B at a shield because that punishes it. I've known that since like last year, back when I first heard the Moon say it. You know,
I've always just been a down tilt kind of guy. You know, you just CC down tilt the laser, but the reverse up B is a lot more efficient. But anyway, so when I see that, right, you can say, well, that wasn't safe, right? You could be like, that's not safe. But you could also explain that, well, listen, if you do this, you're going to get reverse up beat out of shield. You're going to get down tilted. Jigglypuff has her own punishes. Marth has his own punishes. Everyone has their own punishes on it.
Yeah.
So you could always talk about what they can do. And you can't just be like, ah, that's not safe. And then just whatever. But and it works sometimes. I mean, you could always double laser from the edge, especially when you have a lot of distance on your opponent. You can do it.
Yeah. Well,
Fine.
You could also say something along the lines of like, double lasers don't have enough shield stun or hit stun to completely, you know, protect you from a punish. You know, it's like when you say things are like +1, -2 on shield, etc. You can say, oh, well, lasers are insert, you know, frame data, which leaves an opportunity for Martha or Jigglypuff or Sheik to nair at a shield, rest at a shield, up B at a shield, no matter who it is.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, everything's okay in moderation. So like some of these things on the bingo board I'm looking at right now are like, yeah, they suck. Like the nice back airs, the free space, which is really funny. But then the other things, you know, it's just you can mix it up with your own type of take on it.
Where's the bingo board? Here we go.
Yeah, you scroll down a little bit. Yeah, Fat Goku tweeted it.
Anything can happen. It's melee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Four stock every time you see a four stock, and it's like, that's cool. But I want to see this. It's like, you know what? Let's have a little fun here. Let's try to go to every single one of these and see what we can say instead.
Okay, I like it.
Anything can happen.
Wait, is there a... Before we go into this, is there a this is a volatile matchup? Because that should be on this board. It's not. Okay. Go on. Anything can happen?
What's your solution to that?
What is my solution? Anything can happen.
What is your alternative?
I don't know. I usually never say this phrase anyway, so I don't think I've ever been in a position where I have to.
Well, let's throw it in general. Anything can happen. Anything can happen in melee. You know, you never know what's going to happen.
Melee is a beautiful game.
One stock is not a lead.
Oh, that's another one. It's under O.
Oh, there you go.
Boom.
Of course.
2 slots on the bingo board.
Covered.
But yeah. Anything can happen when
Except for roll to the right.
It's you can oh, of course.
Memes.
Yep.
Yep.
You can kind of slightly change it, but at the end of the day, it's kind of a pretty standard one. 4 stock.
You can say
I
it's
mean, 4 stock.
unpredictable. It's unpredictable.
Melee is unpredictable.
We can't, you could say the future is ever changing or something like that, anything what it is.
Yeah.
You must construct additional pylons. I don't know.
You must just start memeing from another game.
But it's like
whatever, right?
You can emphasize the fact that it's unpredictable without saying that it's unpredictable. Hell, you know what? Let's do this. Let's not even say anything can happen. Let's let the game show us that anything can happen.
Yeah.
Let's watch the match and let that say anything can happen, because you never know. Ice could back air an air dodging nun and save his life like he was a freaking mid-level player. Instead of hitting R
and winning.
And advancing and winners. Or was that losers?
Right.
No,
that was winners. He got falconed in losers too by SJ, I think. Anyway,
so
but yeah.
4 stock.
4 stock. I mean, it happens to people.
Yeah, this one isn't too bad because 4 stocks are, I wouldn't say few and far between, especially, but it's like considering the amount of games played that there is not a 4 stock.
Right.
And then there's so many different ways to say, oh my god, are we going to get a 4 stock? Is he about to beat him without losing a life? It's like 4 stock isn't actually that bad.
It's only bad. Sorry to cut you off. It's only bad when, let's say, the guy's at 4 stocks, high percent, other guy's at 2 stocks, and the guy just starts going, oh, are we gonna get a 4 stock? I mean, you can't start saying that so early.
Yeah.
I think it's the timing of the 4 stock question mark that's very important about this, which makes it not that bad.
The funny thing is, I can tell you right now, there's probably at some point with like how much Smash we've watched where we've heard someone after losing 1 stock go, are they gonna get a 4 stock?
Oh, I'm sure I've seen that. And that also,
I actually want to find an example of that.
Mango 11 I've played for so long with all the 4 stocks and the most hype moments that people start to say, like, maybe this game's just gonna be the 4 stock, right?
Yeah.
You never know. So I guess that's the end of that one. That one's pretty straightforward. But type battle, I have to say, that I've said type battle so many times, and I think we all have.
Type vocabulary. I don't think I've ever said type battle.
I have. I'm so guilty of this.
The words type battle just aren't in my diction.
I think because of the time I was watching, the time that I was first studying commentary and first watching commentary, type battle was said by every tri-state commentator ever. The New York City scene really picked up type battle, I like to say.
Last Stockings, tight ass. What?
Because when even people that aren't commentating, they're just standing behind the players, they're just going, oh my god, type battle, right?
Yeah, it's like, okay, we get it. The battle is tight.
Like when I go to Nebulous, I'm telling you, tight battle is nothing. It's like just falls off the tongue, man.
That was a tight battle, man.
There's just a part of my region just in the back of my tongue that I can't fix. But to kind of cover over what you could do in place.
Last stock type battle. The stakes are high. Who's
close situation.
Yeah. The stakes are high. Who's gonna win? What's another one? It's like, this is, insert, like, let's say someone's doing a comeback and it's last stock. You could say this is person's, finally, like, this is their chance.
Tournament stock. I like tournament. I like match point. I love saying match point.
That's not even what I mean. Like, I'm talking about, like, it's game 2, West Balls Leffen. Leffen gets West Balls down to 2 stocks. West Balls takes 1, so it's 3-2. Leffen takes another one, so it's 3 stocks of Leffens to 1 stock of West Balls. And West Balls runs through the next 2 stocks of Leffens, so it's like West Balls at like 54% versus Leffen, who's on his stock. I wouldn't say last stock type battle, but this is West Ball's chance. Like this is where he can come back. This is his chance
to make the comeback, right?
Exactly.
He's really holding on to this tournament stock. He's trying to capitalize.
The funny thing is,
keep going.
Looking at this bingo, I'm looking at all of these and I'm just like, oh my god, Crimson Blur is definitely being hawked at all times.
He actually is. If you've ever,
you want to know the #1 phrase I'm looking at that's like, oh, like that screams Crimson
Mangle?
Blur? No,
Bangle.
no,
Oh.
and that's gonna be the stock. He says
Oh.
that all the time.
And that's gonna be the stock. Yeah, that definitely. These are all very blurry, Kappa.
It's a blurry line
I've like
between.
I've
either
looked
one.
at streams. I'm obviously not knocking the Cruiser Boys commentary. He has very good commentary. It's better than mine. I can't ever complain about his commentary.
So
But
let's rapid fire a few. Commentators
Sure.
curse. Just don't use it as much. You don't need to talk
Moderation.
about it. Yeah. All he needs is one grab. Hello, Mewtwo King.
Just Mewtwo King
Say it
only.
once. Moderation. Chant A. Let the crowd do that. That's a chant thing. Oh, okay. Well, listen. If you're gonna be the hype guy, be the hype guy. Oh, is cool.
That's cool.
You
Yeah.
also might want to scream why it's hype. Well, not scream,
Okay.
but like talk in a loud hype voice why it's hype.
Right.
I think we're gonna see X stage. Cool. Congratulations. You know basic counter picks.
That's true.
I don't mind it. I don't. I would like better that you will explain in less generic terms why we're going to see the stage. We'll see what I want to see, and this takes a little bit of homework from the commentators, is why we're going to see that stage not not pertaining to the matchup, but pertaining to the habits of the player picking it.
Oh, yeah.
Like I pick a counter pick as Marth on Pokemon Stadium because I like the low platforms. It makes up tilts and up air coverage a lot easier, and also super FD like. I just don't like the transformations.
Right. I have a quick example for that. Mango versus Hungrybox and Armada versus Hungrybox, right? You look at the go-to counter picks for these players versus Hungrybox. Armada's gonna take FD. Mango's gonna take Yoshi's, and there's different reasons why they take that, to cater to their playstyle. And if you explain that, I think that's a lot better.
Exactly, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, he should have done X. Okay, talk about what he did do and why that was not good. Don't talk about what he should have done. We all know you know better, Mr. Commentator. This is me being
Mr. Commentator.
Yeah, this is me being sarcastic.
Of course, got
But,
it. Yeah.
It's like, from a third-person perspective, while we're watching and studying using our brains and not playing with our hands, we get it. What we need from you is to know why that wasn't good. That's what we need from you. So, focus more on why what happened was bad, and explain it in a nice enough depth, but also, don't talk about what he could have done, talk about what he did do. That's not safe.
We kind of touched this a little bit already, because that was the first thing we talked about pretty hard.
Yeah.
So we can skip that one.
Don't have to tell us all the damn time. I wasn't paying attention. Well, you're on the commentary desk. Why are you not paying attention?
Yeah, that's just a bad commentator move. That's not really
That's
a
not
typical
even-
SSB commentator.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not even typical commentator. That's
That's
just
just a
him being
bad guy.
stupid.
Yeah.
The DI.
You can always talk about DI.
It's just different. This is another phrasing one. The DI, no DI, or
DJ's DJ's no,
No
DI.
DI,
Of course.
you know?
No DI.
but it just that one's fine. It's just phrasing. Nice back air. Tell me why
That's
that
the free
back-
space, dude.
Yeah. Tell me why that back air was nice, and what's nice about it. Was it a prolific back air, great back air, exceptional back
Clean
air?
edge guard.
Yeah. So we'll definitely clean edge guard. Way to seal off the stock, and I'm pretty sure that one's been used plenty.
Yeah, you can just kind of go and recycle side terms that are
Just-
close to nice back
yeah.
air without directly saying
The
it.
back air is what was needed to get the kill, etc. And that's going to be the stock. Cool. We know that's going to be the stock. What exactly was the stock?
That's a lot of filler, I think.
Yeah.
That's like a really generic transition that a lot of play-by-players can do on accident, or in moderation, I guess. But when you say "and that's going to be the stock," it's going from one thought to the beat of the stock that was just played to the next thought of the stock that's about to happen, right?
Yeah.
And trying to find that little segue in between, that's the easiest cop out to do that. But
Well,
with more
on top
time,
of
you can
that,
find.
Let me bring me back to the situation of me listening to a tournament on Twitch. My phone's playing through my car. What was the stock? I don't know what move took the stock. I know it's the stock.
True.
You told me what happened. I need to be my eyes.
That's true. That's true.
All right, one stock is not a lead. I fucking hate that. Move on. Guess what? If I have 2 stocks and you have 1 stock, I have 1 more stock than you. That is a lead. Okay, cross up.
You have an advantage,
Yeah.
but
No, it's a fucking lead.
cross up.
Yeah. Cross up.
I don't really use cross up.
I was gonna say I haven't really heard that used too often.
That's a pretty rare one.
Yeah,
But it's
so-
not a real word, so that's also something to
Yeah.
point out. The mangle, that's
That one's
I
died
think-
down recently. I would say, topically speaking, possibly speaking, like this was posted on March 14th. At the time, possibly, but as of right now, people kind of calmed down with Mangle versus Mewtwo King angles. Like, I think we kind of got over that.
I think you can use mangle when Mango's playing.
That's about. I mean, I don't mind if it.
Once.
I don't mind if other people use it. You can talk about the like. I really want to see the Mangles when you you get Phantom while angling. You know what I'm talking about?
That's the kind of
Like that's when
those
I
are
want to
pretty
hear. Oh my God, that was what a mangle.
that was a mangle. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's fine to say. I don't have too many problems with mangle.
Yeah, that's one of the cases. Like, it's. I think it's less about the fact that you said mangle and more about the fact that you commentated that he took an angle.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and that's going to be game number X. I'm guilty of this one. Talking about the end of the game number, insert whatever now into this number.
That's not too bad to have. To be
I don't
guilty.
want to say it's terrible, but at the same time, it would be better. It would be better to use that time to talk about what one player is thinking, what another player is thinking. Okay, what does this player need to do? What does this player need to do? You could rephrase it, say, okay, now what does Mango need to do in order to take game number, or game 6 or game 5 or game 24? Rather than saying, okay, and that's going to be game number 3, 2-1 Armada, and counterpicking. All right, this is game 4. Just let's get into the heads and the in-between time of the 2 players that we're looking at. What does Mango need to do to bounce back in game 4? And I feel like commentary does well with that. We live in. Hi, D1.
Yeah. Hi D1, but we live in is not too
We
bad.
all use it. I was gonna say.
We're guilty.
I would say we live in is often used.
It's okay.
I want to give an example. It's like, because you hear we live in a lot, the more important thing to do is to say, what a good recovery, or, pretty much like the X player knows, just how far he can get with his recovery or something like that. You don't have to say
Right.
we live in, like I see, we're living, the
Of
stock
course.
didn't drop, we didn't hit the blast zone, okay, we live in, awesome. That's a moderation one. You hate to see that happen.
No, that usually happens with SDs.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunate SD can be a little slash next to this one.
Yeah, I would say only use this phrase when the atmosphere complements it. So when it's game
like
5 Mewtwo King Hungry Box, and it's, Mewtwo King has 1 stock left and misses the ledge dash, that's when you can say you hate to see that happen, or that's
absolutely.
terrible, that shit feels bad, man. Not
Where
like
it's just kind of like a momentum killer, and all of a sudden, like, whoa, anticlimactic,
Yeah.
this just happened. It's unfortunate. You
Yeah.
hate to see that happen.
But when it's game 1 and Mewtwo King SD's first stock, don't say you hate to see that happen. Of course
Nah.
we do, but
It's got to say, hey man, it's melee. Just got to bounce back.
essentially you can either, or like, don't even just mention it, like,
Yeah, true.
or you could say, oh, Mewtwo King SD's, now he has to work with this, with this deficit, or how
Yeah,
can Mewtwo
exactly.
King carry this deficit or come back from this, this disadvantage. It's
Mm-hmm.
perfectly it's perfectly manageable.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I just want to see a
Um,
game 5, so do we. You don't have to.
We
tell
all
me.
do. You don't have to say it. That's putting your own personal like
Said no one
back
ever
of the mind thought out.
on the topic of Jigglypuff Dittos.
Oh right. But like in the back of like your head when you say your personal like very close opinion, like listen, I just want to see a game 5, man, or like listen, I'm kind of rooting for this, man. I'm kind of want this to happen. That's something you should try to stray away from, in my opinion. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure everybody agrees. Everybody wants to see a game 5.
That's
but
another.
pointing it out sometimes.
That's another
Yeah.
atmospheric can be used elsewhere. None versus Ice. Definitely want to see a game 5. But you can say it like when game 4 ends and now it's 2-2. You can say yes, yes, game 5. Explain your excitement for the 5th game in other, in more metaphorical means, so to speak. You can use it other than saying I want to see a game 5. You know what I mean? Because when you talk about what you want, especially in commentary, you're kind of inserting your ego into the fray, and your ego does not belong in my tournament.
It does not belong in the match. Absolutely,
Yeah.
I agree. Game X is so important.
I want to see a game 5, but I'm going to convey that regardless. You're not going to hear me. I'm just going to tell you that I want a game 5 because I'm yelling at my screen. Whereas you want a game 5 that has nothing to do with me or the viewers or the people. Like if people want a game 5, use the crowd. The people freaking out in the crowd is going to say game 5.
Right.
Game X is so important. In a lot of ways, they're all important. But
They're
also,
all important.
Yeah, but in a lot of ways, game 5 is important.
Talking about
it's like
game. Go ahead.
You can't talk about what games are important when there's only as many as 5.
Right.
You can say game 1 is so important. Like, you could talk about best of 3s and say game 1 is so important because then you get counter pick advantage. You could talk about best of 5s and say game 5 is so important. I mean, of course it is. That's the one that wins the set.
Of course, right?
Yeah.
Game 5 is the most important one. But talking about game X is so important. There is the whole Fox Puff matchup thing that I recently saw. I think it was Don't Park on the Grass, where they said game 1 is so important, and I was like, come on, man, cross it off on the bingo board. But when you think about certain matchups, right? Specifically Fox Puff, when Puff loses on Battlefield, she has two counter picks, right? She has Dreamland and Fountain, right? Let's say she wins on Dreamland and Fountain. She is now forced to play on either FD, no thank you, Stadium, no thank you, or Yoshi's, kind of no thank you, right? So they talk about if Puff wins on Battlefield, that's so important for her in the matchup. But if Puff loses on Battlefield, it's going to be so hard for her to come back. And you can talk about that, but...
Yeah, you can mention that. But at the same time, it's like...
At the same time, yeah.
Let's do another route here. Rather than saying game X is so important, let's talk about how it affects in terms of the set. So you could say game 5, and you could say, this is the decider. This is it. Like, talk about how game 5 is the decision. The end.
Yes.
This is the climax. I'm joking.
We're at the bottom of the chart. We're getting through it.
Right? This is actually
These
a lot
are
harder
hard.
than I thought. I'm having fun.
I'm having fun, yeah.
You could talk about how game 1's so important because it's not like just don't talk about game 1 saying, this is the beginning. This will set the tone, or this will, I want to say, dictate the tone of the set, which I believe I've heard before.
And that's good. But obviously, meh.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah,
I just want to see some good melee. That's just another case of so do we. Don't put your ego into this. Move on. Rambles about how they did in tournament. We covered that. Don't talk about irrelevant shit. Move on. The reads. Let's talk about the read. Let's talk about the read. Let's talk about what the read got us, why we read in the way that we did, and let's talk about what habits we picked up throughout the match that caused that read. And mention that, the other person picked up on that.
Yeah, obviously you roll in 4 times. The 5th time he rolls in, Captain Falcon goes for a full hop, or a short hop in place,
or like a side B to the right. You could say, Mango's been teching in. This is the 5th time Mango's teched in, and S2J finally read it. Or S2J picked up on it. So, I think that's gonna be the end with our commentary bingo. We have so much to cover.
Oh yeah.
We should have cut this off a long time ago. Oh well.
That's not too bad. It's
We're
fine.
on topic 4 out of 10.
But you know what? I think once we get down to towards the end, it's not going to be too bad. Yeah.
All right. Well.
So we're on what, 4? 5?
Yeah,
We're
4.
on 5.
Time for Prague. Says,
Oh, Prague.
honestly, the worst habit that a lot of beginner commentators have is a lack of experience, and I'm not talking about on the mic. Some people view commentary as the fast lane to success or notoriety in the scene, and well, they try to skip everything else leading up to it. Every commentator out there was active, or still is, as a player. We're capable of talking about scenarios and situations so quickly because we've been in them or seen them enough times to know. That's why my first advice to everyone who wants to be a commentator is to play more. Beyond that, the biggest thing is that many forget it's a conversation and will try and carry it for 2 minutes at a time, not listening to the partner or their streaming partner in this call because I talk too fucking much. Well, that's what I do. I stream alone.
Yeah,
If the
I know.
folks at home can't hear either of you because you both are talking over each other constantly. Silence doesn't bother me too much. Silence during tense moments is often fine. When it comes to referencing chat, I'm still undecided. The thing that separates traditional sports and at this point is interaction, sure. You'll never hear those guys tell the people at home to do something. You kinda? Sometimes you might. It's rare, but you might.
Very rare.
Very rare. Like, don't change that channel or something like that. Shit like that.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
Or,
sure,
don't go anywhere, we'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
That said, we have a live audience that are actually part of the experience, so I'm okay with some interaction with the chat. In the future, as the games grow, I wouldn't be surprised if people start leveraging conversation with the chat for things like Twitch bits for players, the event, etc. Filler words and phrases fine as well, but they have to lead to something. I know I use so a ton, but it usually as a segue to my next point. Commentators have to listen to their work and refine it. It isn't just let's hop on next week and see how it goes. It's let's watch how things went. What would I have done differently? What did I not focus on that I wanted to? Where do I make adjustments for next time? Smash is different than other esports, which may have folks spend time writing scripts, but we're off the cuff and unscripted. Most folks aren't doing this as a job, it's a labor of love. But the key word is labor. You have to work at improvement just like any other aspect.
Now, this is the best answer I've seen.
I was gonna say, I think that's a tight little bow on that.
Yeah, that's really nice.
So, tickety topic 5.
You go first.
I was gonna say, do you want to say anything?
I mean, he literally said everything here, but
Beautiful.
What did I want to touch on? I forgot. Oh, the whole playing more thing, the whole experience as a player that obviously emulates into your experience as a commentator to get the game knowledge. You can't just jump on with your personality only with no game knowledge and expect to go extremely far.
Yeah, man, love the game.
Love the game, man. And if you don't love the game, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, we can jump on number 5. That was very well said.
Do you have to talk to your co-caster or know anything about them personally before getting on the mic, or can you just freestyle with anyone? Do you need to build chemistry, or should you be in a position where you can adapt to fill any role as it goes on? We did cover this, so this one is going to be quick.
Yeah, we covered it.
You should get to know them. You should also improve yourself to the point where you may or may not don't have to. However, it is a good thing to do. To know your commentator and to be able to talk to each other the way like me and you talk to each other, Risen, is very helpful. However, sometimes two personalities just mesh well together and you guys kind of have that, that chemistry. It's like chemistry can be worked on and it can also be had. But yeah, it's good to work on. Let's read Prog's.
Let's just read Prog's answer. Yeah.
He said, you should know something about them. I've been a fan of James Chen for years, but better believe that prior to Evo 2013, we were exchanging messages trying to figure out how to approach a pivotal event. At this point, I can freestyle with just about anybody, but I've been doing this for ages with tons of folks, as we said. Some people are capable of working with just about anyone, others shine with one or two only, and the thing is you have to be aware that as a commentator, and you have to let your tournament organizer, or now that people do commentary schedules, let them know. I've heard terrible pairings before. I know that they were decided in advance, and well, we see pairs get the boot for a reason. Not every caster works out, nor does every pairing. If you heard D1 and I when we first started, we had some chemistry, sure, but that pair at its pinnacle was because we had done so many sets together. We're friends who know each other, and how the other reacts to things, etc.
I really like that he talked about the James Chen thing because I remember watching Evo 2013 because I was in the scene for that.
I was gonna say I had just came in the scene I had entered the scene late 2013, so I had missed Evo.
Yeah, so I think I got into it only maybe a month before the fundraiser. It was so close to the fundraiser that you might as well call me an Evo kid. I might as well. I'm not even gonna pretend that I'm better.
Fun
Just
fact:
throw me
I'm
in.
actually a documentary kid.
Really, that's
I
interesting.
was one of the early ones. Like I want to say I came in right before the Platinum Age. I would say the Platinum Age. I would say it started around Skatar 3, really pushed into full effect
Oh
by the
yeah.
time we hit MLG. I would say MLG is like that defining tournament for the Platinum Age.
Can you believe that Zero played at that tournament?
Right? He played
But anyway,
Melee.
so yeah, it does depend on the person, but depending on your experience and how often you're in a position where you have to um, condition yourself to be with multiple different commentators. But so obviously Prague is a very freestyle, sit in the chair with just about anybody and you can do anything. But there are people that just really shine with one or two specific people, and that was really well said.
Yeah. All right, discuss doubles commentary, who focuses on one aspect of teams and what specifically to focus on. Now, this is kind of where being a versatile commentator can shine, because you're going to
Yes.
have the color commentator and the play-by-play. However, the play-by-play is going to need a little help because there's a lot of plays going on screen. So, what you want to do as a color commentator who fills in the blanks, fill in the blanks with some more play-by-play. The play-by-play that your commentator missed.
Yeah, the problem with doubles commentary is there's so much play-by-play that now the idea of the analysis behind the game is a little overshadowed.
Well, and
So
here's
like,
the thing. I'm sorry to interrupt, but here's the
oh no,
thing.
you're okay.
It's that you don't have to capture everything. And you
Oh, of
also
course.
don't have to explain everything in detail. Doubles commentary, because it's so, like, you just took a game that's super fast and multiplied it by 2.
Exactly.
So,
Hyperspeed.
I think we can kind of forgive, like, this is where I would forgive simple phrases.
I would
But at
forgive
the
that.
same time, you can also work in double specific things, talking about teams, you know, like the pairing itself, talking about, you know, the matchup differences in doubles, you know, how Marth goes from like the top, you know, the second best character in the game to now, you know, behind characters like Fox Peach, Jigs,
Right.
you know. So you can find your ways to use doubles as its own thing, but you also, you know, need to be able to adapt to the much faster pace.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say this like it's fact, but while one person pays attention to these two people duking it out, the other one can pay attention to the other two people duking it out, and then
Right.
each, you know, fill in the blanks based on what they see. But at the same time, it all depends. Like, phrasing, I would think, is really important in doubles, because if you phrase things correctly, yeah, you can cover everything just fine. But if you don't know how to phrase things correctly, you'll find yourself tired like me. But you'll also find yourself either wallowing in like redundance, or find yourself missing things, etc. It's especially like, it's really, because there's so much, you really got to focus on the key plays. You can't just focus on literally anything and everything that happens like you would in singles. You have to focus on what really matters.
Right.
And yeah, I would say that's just about.
Have you ever
it.
tried commentating a double set by yourself? I've done it a lot. From HBA times,
I
because
feel like
at
I did.
regionals and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like either the GameCon events, I may have seen like a double set going on and commentated it. I know I've definitely commentated double sets like to myself before.
Yeah, they're it's definitely an experience in itself trying to commentate a double set by yourself.
Yeah, good
But
fucking
I've
luck with that
I've
shit.
kind of gotten pretty good at it because of the repetition, which is unfortunate because I love having co-commentators. It's so boring to commentate by yourself. But I think that the whole doubles commentary thing is something that I've been putting more hours into than anything recently.
If you can solo commentate a double set, you definitely deserve to be that guy at the end of an infomercial saying all the freaking terms and conditions that no one hears.
Oh yeah, where you have to say it at that like little pace so it's not false advertising. Yeah, it's like, oh, I'll give you a free car. Just kidding, not really, not giving you a free car.
Pretty much.
And
Free
yeah.
car only distributed with the purchase of another car.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Um, so there is
Peace my play.
in doubles commentary, there's a lot of matchups for team compositions going on. There's a lot of stage control things you can talk about. How you talk about maybe a Samus and a Jigglypuff as a teammate to a Fox, where they hit away the floaty because those two characters have a very, very slow recovery, and then they 2v1 the fast character, and you could talk about that the whole time. There's a lot of analysis behind it. But
Yeah. It's definitely
Anyway.
something. In fact, doubles commentary as a whole really should level up.
yeah,
you
it
know,
deserves more love.
It's not even that like people are bad at it in general, but it's like doubles isn't as celebrated as singles is. So commentary for doubles isn't quite, I would say, as developed as singles commentary is. In fact,
Yeah.
let's actually talk about Don't Park on the Grass doubles commentary.
I was about to tell you,
Because-
I know you and I had personal
Yeah.
conversation about this 2 days ago.
Let's tie this all together for doubles
Okay.
commentary.
Mhm.
In fact, this is going to tie into another. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to switch number 7 and number 8. Number 7, we were going to talk about commentary in crew battles. Now and then talk about commentary bias. This is going to be. In fact, let me do Prog's opinion. You gave your opinion. Let me do Prog's, and then we're gonna do that little end piece here. Doubles commentary is tough and something that I'm working on improving myself. I like to take a few moments at the start of the match just to watch, see who is on point, who is playing support, whether or not they are trying to constantly flank one player or confident with one-on-one battles, etc. Most commentators can point on the moments, that great pickup in a skirmish, the big saves, etc., but pointing out more strategy is my own personal goal, and that's one thing we did say is that you can talk about the strategy and the doubles exclusive type stuff.
Just one sec. I'm still listening. I'm just grabbing a phone charger.
Okay, so let's talk about doubles commentary and commentary bias in tandem now that we're going to be shifting into commentary bias. So let's talk about Don't Park on the Grass and one commentary team featuring one Nicholas M. Whittier and one Reno. Now, I'm actually going to... I don't want to say I want to put the pass on Reno, but at the same time, if you watched the commentary, NMW was like taking a big majority of the like he was taking command over the commentary team, and this is like so many no-nos. So let's talk about this. Just because you're a player whose name is relatively known, especially in a scene, whether it's NorCal or SoCal, does not give you the privilege to hop on commentary in the middle of a major and fuck around. Don't be stupid.
Right.
Especially at a major commentary. Like,
Now, I actually didn't watch any of the Don't Park in the Grass doubles commentary. I should have watched it when you told me about it the other day, but I actually didn't look into it. So I'm just going to have to go off of what you're saying.
okay, well, listen, if you want on your stream, pull it up now
Mhm.
and listen to some of it and see if you don't have any live reactions to something. Me, I'm going to continue to rant about this.
Do you have a specific set in mind?
Literally just watch doubles top 8. Anything with Leffen. So, Leffen Ice versus anybody.
Left and Ice versus anybody?
Yeah. So, this is a major. When it comes to commentary at a major, even in pools, you don't fuck around. Majors are, this is not a pools in a regional. This is not, this is not sets at your local where everyone knows who you are and we're all joking together. No, this is like a borderline national scale, worldwide for super majors. You are going to have people from England, Spain, France, Germany, Sweden, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, America, Mexico, Canada. So many different nations tuning in. So if I am in Japan and there's a double set going on at like 6 a.m. my time, and I stay my ass up or wake up early to watch that shit, and all I get to hear is NMW talking shit about Leffen the entire time, I'm gonna be a little pissed. That's not what anyone wants to listen to. No one wants to talk about while you want to call out Leffen, while you dare Leffen to tweet at you, while you root for the NorCal guys. Like, you know it was gonna be bad when they get on commentary, and I'm pretty sure NMW said something along the lines of, you know, people say you shouldn't be biased on commentary, but we're gonna do biased commentary. Like, you don't just completely disregard something that's there for good reason.
So he was just straight up being disrespectful to Leffen then?
Sort of. It was more like along the case of, it was clearly biased commentary. It was disregarding, like, you
I'm
could
watching
tell,
an ad on my stream.
I noticed. You could tell how much he doesn't care. And it's like, no one wants that. Especially when you're doing doubles top 8. You know? It's not even doubles pools. Like, this isn't even the lesser watched category of the lesser watched, you know, of the lesser watched timing. This is the top timing of the lesser watched category, which still gets a lot of views, dude. You're doing this to about 10,000, you know, 12,000 people. That's fucking insane, like, how you can do that. I don't know. So, no.
Let me see. So 17th, 18th, and the 19th was day 3? Or was it a 2-day event? Wait, no.
It was a 2-day event.
It was a 2-day event. Okay, so that means that the first half of this...
top 8 happened early day 2.
Okay. I just saw that on the schedule here.
Yeah.
So now we might have to watch another ad. Let's go Twitch. Oh, no, we didn't. All right, cool.
Let's go ads. Advertisement revenue.
No, next day, Triff over.
Yeah, so that's how I feel about that commentary. Like, poor Reno, you know, even like Reno kind of like facilitated it though. Reno really, like, Reno, you could tell that like he really didn't hop in. Like, all of this was being brought by NMW, but it's like, dude, you know, just don't even bring the bias in it. I would have to rewatch it to make 100% sure, you know, who was facilitating it and who was, like, obviously MMW was the one that brought all the bias and the bullshit, but like, I'm not gonna really put it too hard on anybody else. Not to mention, anytime he opened his mouth, chat was just like so. And I'm talking about, like, this isn't even Twitch chat trolling. This is Twitch chat, like, honestly disliking something. Yeah. So that's that was a very odd, an odd choice for this streamer to put on for doubles top 8. So let's talk about bias in general.
Yeah, I'm just I have it kind of playing in the background because I was trying to listen in, but
I'm gonna touch on it. And well, here's the thing, like, have you any first impressions yet?
I didn't watch too much. I only watched for like a minute.
Okay,
but
well, we'll worry about it some other
I'll
time.
look tonight and I'll watch my own stuff, and maybe if I have something I really want to go
actually,
over it, then.
I'm also going to talk about bias, and you can just incorporate what you've heard here into your take on bias.
Okay.
So, bias, it definitely. Okay, let's put it this way. Bias isn't all bad. I'm not angry if someone's biased. I'm angry if someone's biased and it's mistimed or it doesn't belong.
Okay.
East Coast versus West Coast cool battle, dude. Get biased as shit. Let's have some fun. You know what I mean? Especially crew battle commentary. You're gonna see when it comes to like bias that crews are definitely a thing, because crew is almost like facilitating the bias.
I like when there's one of each crew on the mic. instead of two of one crew, because two of one crew is too much. But one of each crew is like really nice. I really like that.
Yeah.
In terms of like locals, the melee games and stuff, they talk so much trash, and I love it.
Yeah. It's like, Melee isn't all esports. Melee's still a community. Melee's still, Melee's still a bunch of guys, some girls, just chilling and having fun, talking shit, playing games, being
Right.
being our not well, I was gonna say our nerdy, but then again, if you think about it, there's a lot of different people that play Melee. Just being ourselves, you know what I mean? Just having fun, and that's where bias is allowed. When we're chilling, when we're having fun, or if you're at commentary and your best friend starts playing, if it's at a local level, show bias, man. Go ape shit for your
Yeah.
friend.
Why not?
If it's like at a higher level, it's like you can be like you can talk a little more about that one player, you can focus a little more on that one player, but make sure your co-commentator has picked up on that, and in contrast focuses on the other player and talks about them, because
Mm-hmm.
it's like most people think that they have to say, okay, you focus like you it's like it's a WWE stereotype that some people understand that don't need to be stereotype. There used to always be the face commentator and the heel commentator. The face commentator would be like, oh, would watch the bad guy do something to the good guy and be like, oh, that's terrible. Where the heel commentator would be like, hey, yeah, I like it. That's smart. That's smart. Don't be pissed, dude. That's just smart. You know what I'm saying? But
Right. Right.
that doesn't need to happen. Now, let's say like it's going to, because your friend's playing or it's a crew battle thing. Make sure you have someone that's going to be the contrast. That was one of the issues with the MNMW and Reno commentaries, that there was no contrast. There was no devil's advocate. It was just all NMW talking shit on anyone that wasn't NorCal.
Right. And that's okay. Yeah, well, I mean, that's only okay in a crew battle environment, in my opinion, because when you have someone, or just someone that's able to support the other side, like just basically what you just said. I didn't mean to just repeat you,
Well,
but bias, super relevant, super important to focus on. There's a lot of people that, let's just say, Mango Hungrybox are playing, and both casters are like, listen, Fox is cool, and we don't want to watch a Puff win because we don't like Puff, right? And that's not something that they don't say directly, but it's always in the back of everybody's minds.
yeah, let's truck back to bias on what it does, because bias, one of the main reasons it has no place in commentary is because it affects the community, because the people that watch and hear these opinions, and like, people are so easily influenced. So when you have people constantly talking shit about Puff or Hbox, or when you have people portraying Mango as the amazing hero and Armada as the Stonewall villain, it's like, guys, like, first of all, Mango's awesome, but he ain't fucking Superman. And second of all, Armada's not. It's like,
I understand where you're going with this.
it's like Armada's not to be villainized whatsoever.
Exactly,
Levin
right.
plays the villain because he thinks it's cool, but he kind of, like, people enjoy the kind of villain he plays because it's apparent. He kind of owns the role, whereas someone like Armada, who isn't quite as outspoken about his standing with the community and more just wants to do his own thing, that's who it's going to affect, because he's not going to take it and make it his own. He's not going to battle back. He's going to essentially be either villainized or have opinions formed of him that, like, he's just going to be looked at differently for no fucking reason. So
Right.
that's how you have people like Kid Boogie or Hbox or Nintendude, generally like floaty players, Ice Climber players, Puff players, stuff like that. That's
Right.
how you have these people like this kid is such a nice fucking guy.
Oh, if
But
you have ever met this kid, he is such a great person.
you're gonna have people that tell him to like kill himself, unplug on him, fucking people. People are gonna treat him like shit because he's
He plays
constantly
Ices,
well.
and
He's gonna constantly be villainized because Ices, this stigma about wobbling being the worst thing ever, and
yeah,
then
we're in a
and then it's
very
like
negative environment for
yeah
wobblers because of just how that works. I mean, there's always someone that's not pro wobbling and they see it happen at the tournament that they're commentating and they try not to say anything about it, but there are times where like, man, that's lame, right? And then there's people in the chat, they're like, oh, this is stupid, right? And the whole negative emotion of the entire this guy just got to punish
yeah.
kind of skews, right? And
And
then
then
now
you might hear commentators, um, like you can even do this unconsciously. This is why it's like so important to keep attention to
Mhm.
it, because you can hear commentators, you know, unconsciously say like, "Oh, he's getting wobbled," like, damn, you gotta avoid that. Like the way that they're speaking from a completely different perspective,
that's what I'm
saying
saying.
how the wobble's so bad, like, "Oh shit, you got wobbles, the world's coming to an end," type shit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, right, right.
However, there are some sick ices like wobbles and his handoffs and shit. But here's the thing, like look
Rip
wobbles,
fly. I cry every time.
Ripfly wobbles doesn't even wobble unless he's like planning on winning a tournament
Hmm.
because he doesn't want to be that guy. And it's like you have all of these like effects on the players.
Right.
Like I remember like Hungry Box has been outspoken about it. Armada sometimes speaks about it. Leffin's outspoken about it. Like you can hear, and this isn't new. Players talk about how they feel about how the community feels about him. Fuck, Ken started taking a break because he was starting to be looked at as the villain because he won so much, and that
Right.
took him away from the game. Plup is another example of
Great
somebody
example.
who, like, first of all, I don't even know who would like dislike Plup. He's dope as hell. His Fox is awesome. His Sheik's awesome. Like, I love watching Plup play.
Yeah.
But for the people that dislike his Sheik or for whatever reason, or the tech chasing, I remember watching Swedish Delight get shit talked on when he was tech chasing somebody to death. I think it was like
Yeah.
Swedish Delight versus West Balls or Hacks
At Super Nebs.
at Super Nebs, and I remember
Uh-huh.
Chad going off on Swedish about the tech chasing. And all of a
Yeah, I
sudden,
was there live, so I
yeah,
didn't see the chat.
it's like people kind of turned on him because he tech chased somebody to death, and it's like, oh, tech chases are so boring. First of all, tech chases are hard as shit. If you do clean tech chases, dude, I'm like even though it's not the hypest thing in the world, I'm impressed. But like let me run back to there are people villainized for this, and it kills people's love for the game, and you gotta have thick skin for that. But if you're a commentator, your job is to make us love both of them, make us love everything, love the match, love the game,
Love Melee, man.
yeah, love Melee. Like this is supposed to tell a story of two warriors going at it, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
obviously there's some level of realism to it. If it's two schmucks and pulls, no one's gonna buy into your grand spectacle of a battle. But
Right.
understand that there is no bad guy. And,
Never.
not there doesn't have to be a protagonist and an antagonist. There can be two protagonists. Which one is better? Like, let's put it this way. I hands down prefer Goku and Vegeta as friendly rivals than as good guy and bad
Hero
guy.
and villain.
Yeah.
Good, bad. Right. Okay.
So, let's talk more because everyone has their favorites. Like, let's put it this way. There are Goku fans who like Goku more than Vegeta, and there are Vegeta fans who like Vegeta more than Goku. But I've never heard someone say, "Oh, I hate Goku. Vegeta's the best. Oh, I hate Vegeta. Goku's the best." You know what I'm saying? Like, both characters are likable. Both characters now. It's through a very different medium, but in terms of storytelling, it's possible where both people are genuinely liked. And you can just pick your preference. And this is something that commentary needs to work on. That's why open bias and a doubles top 8 at Don't Park on the Grass, where there is no reason to be biased, is not good. Anyway, I've been talking for like 25 minutes, so you're
yeah. You put a lot of insight in there. No, I liked it all though. I think it was well warranted. So the commentary bias, I mean, what hasn't been said yet? You covered a lot.
I was gonna say, listen, man, if you have nothing to add, I'm sorry, but at the same time, like,
No,
don't
it's
be
all right.
afraid to just say forget it.
Yeah, we could just skip to Prog's answer real quick.
Well, is there anything personally that you wanna say, like how you feel?
No. The whole thing is like the character thing, like how everyone hates a character. Everybody hates Sheik. Everybody hates Fox if you're a floaty player. Everybody hates Peach and Samus and Puff, and everybody hates Luigi because that time he beat SJ, right?
I love
with that,
Luigi. Luigi's dank as shit,
right?
man. Are you
So
kidding me?
you talk about all these things, and then you just realize,
I'll
wait,
break the game again.
wait
the
a
most
minute.
Badass shit.
Every character sucks. I forgot. Like we could just hate all the characters together in loving of Melee, right?
Yeah, right.
My favorite was at Shine. I saw these little kids, right? They could not have been 10 years old. They might have been younger. Swear to God. And they were sitting there and they were watching they were watching the Melee top 8, and I was with Maybe and the Swooper, Pudgy Panda, a bunch of New Jersey Melee players.
Yeah.
And we were sitting there looking at the screen, watching top 8 in the front row. We were having a great time, and these two kids were kneeling on the floor in front of us. And I think it was MacD versus Axe, I think they played. And every single time MacD down smashed, these kids were so angry. They were furious. And they're like, oh, no skill. And they were just taking their controllers and smacking down on the C-stick, right? And maybe they don't like it because they lose to that when they play. But they look up to people like the commentators. They look up to people that complain about Peach, and then now they're led to believe that Peach is just Satan spawn, right?
Right.
So, and of course I'm watching these kids. I'm like, listen, guys, Peach really isn't that bad. Like,
Dope.
wait till you see Puff. And then they saw Puff, and they were so mad at Hungrybox, even though Hungrybox was playing not tip top. I'm pretty sure he got 5th at that tournament or 4th or something. Right. But he got 3-0'd best fat, and then he lost to Mango, I think, which isn't bad losses at all. He did all right, but when he was on stage, he was getting booed by those two little kids, and it was bad. Yeah, so it just goes to show how far bias takes you. When you're commentating, you forget that you can put that emotion into others, and that emotion could possibly stick with them for a little while.
Exactly. So,
anyway, Prog's answer.
It was good. It was good because that's one of the reasons I wanted your opinion, because I know you have personal experience more than I do.
Yeah, exactly.
So, having someone here talking and having experience is good. So Prog says, bias has a time and place. Players dislike it, and of course they should. It's hard to hear people cheering against you in the vids and all. That said, bias does something for a commentator, which is something that I'm concerned about being lost. A lot of commentators that I listen to now are kind of bland and boring, but you add a bit of bias to them, and you make them start pulling for one side slightly more than the other, and suddenly they have a bit more edge or personality. That said, bias has limits, and it can make things awkward quickly if folks go too hard with it. NMW. But if you listen to so many historical sets, there is bias. Why? Because the commentators know what moment would mean for the game, the scene, the tournament, the moment, etc. Yeah, what that moment would mean for etc. Would Armada's win at Genesis 2 be as big if he didn't have the entire venue against him? Are people going to be biased for PPMD when he comes back because he hasn't been in top shape for a year? Biased for PPMD? That's true. That's true.
Oh, to be completely honest, I fully expect every bias in the world for PPMD when he comes back.
Craigasm.
And the only reason why is because we love him as a community, as a player. He's so good.
Like, Jason's a very good... Ooh, Jason is such a good story about bias. Dude, like...
Yeah.
Like the 2008 to like 2012 days, everyone hated Mewtwo King.
Always, because he was always the one.
Mewtwo King.
He was the guy that would hit the ledge limit and brawl back when there wasn't a ledge limit. He would go to tournaments and just camp on platforms. Yeah, In Brawl when they started implementing that. But
Only
Mewtwo
grab the
King was the
ledge
guy to
200
abuse
times.
any tactic he could use, he would use it, and it was just to win, of course. And in that time period, um, because he was also a great Brawl player, and because his playstyle in Melee was very ledge, punish related, it obviously brought, come on, fight me, dude. Like, let's fight. Like, let's play Smash. Let's beat
Yeah,
each other up.
and
I'm not just gonna run up to you and die 4 times.
yeah,
And
and now Mewtwo King is one of the most beloved people in all of Smash.
yes, and so we were in a time, that time period was a very heavy time period for, come on, let's fight. Come on, let's fight. Come on, let's do this. You're lame if you don't, like, you're gay, quote unquote, if you
Hey Romano, what do
do
you think
that.
about Jigglypuff? Yay.
I love that video. Word siren. But that's the exact word they would say in that time period. Of course, you don't say that now, never. But back in 2008 to 2012, that time period, it was kind of like, well, that playstyle is not the playstyle that I want to play against. Therefore, it's something I hate. And that mentality was running rampant through everyone.
Yeah.
And still in low-level Melee today. But once you get to higher-level Melee, all types are starting to become more appreciated. But anyway, yeah.
That's where bias is. Now let's go from the big catalyst and the big welcome of all bias. This is where bias belongs. Crew commentary.
Right.
Now,
So
crew commentary. You know what? To be perfectly honest, between me and you, it's like there's not much to talk about. It's singles with bias. One roots for one side,
right.
and you guys have some fun. One roots for the other side, and you guys have some fun.
So I have a lot of personal experience with crew battle commentary.
There's also more downtime. I'm gonna let you take over this one though. This is yours.
Okay. So in terms of crew battle commentary, I've done the Melee games for a lot of Melee game sets. I've probably commentated at least like 10 or 20 of them. Crew battles, I like them a lot. And the reason why I like them is because I like to take a roster. I like to write down every single player and the character they locked in, and I like to have a list of each one, right? And of course, everyone blind picks their first player, and they go to Battlefield or whatever. I like the energy in the room behind a crew battle, but let's say Crew A has 2 Foxes, a Martha, Peach, and Ice Climbers, and I wouldn't be able to remember this kind of stuff. Maybe I'll write it down.
Oh, and Risen, for the record, there is no difficulty because it kind of just cut off out of nowhere.
Oh yeah. Wait, what was that?
Good.
Oh, I'm fine.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure you're good. Just want to track back real quick. NMW. I don't mean to demonize the kid. Sounds pretty cool. I don't want to make anyone hate him. It's just I had to go off on it.
Right.
Yeah,
That's fine.
I don't want to witch hunt anybody. That's a popular Reddit term. It was more of a you fucked up. Please, I hope he becomes better. I really do. I hope he doesn't do that shit again.
Yeah. So in light of crew battle commentary, so I have a little roster on one side and I see another roster here. So let's say Team A. Are you looking at my screen or do you?
I'm not, but feel free to.
So basically, let's say that Team A has Fox, Falco, Marth, Peach, Ices. Let's say Team B is Falcon, Peach, Marth, Sheik, Fox, right? And that's pretty standard. Everyone, a bunch of top tiers.
I'm actually looking at your Twitch now, so. Uh-oh, we got cut off again.
Oh, that was my bad. I didn't hold my push to talk.
Stop! I thought you were going to turn it off.
I forgot.
So turn it off.
Let's say you have Ice Climbers. I think Ice Climbers is a higher tier. So I think characters increase in their versatility, and I think that characters in crew battles are a lot better and they shine a lot harder. For example, Ice Climbers. You're in the pressure where you have 4 stocks. You don't get to warm up to anyone's playstyle. There's a crowd screaming behind you and you're nervous. Who's really good when you're nervous? Ice Climbers and Jigglypuff are very good when you're nervous. So, or against nervous players. So Ice Climbers is a really good lead for a lot of crews. So usually when you see a crew battle, they like to lead off the Ice Climbers a lot. And also, it's really important to consider that Peach and Fox counter them so hard, specifically Peach, that it's really hard. So let's say they double blind, right? And the Falcon comes out first, and the Ices come out at the same time, right? And let's just say the Ices beats the Falcon just for counter pick purposes, right? Now the crowd's screaming, the Falcon didn't warm up at all, he felt nervous, he lost, right? Okay, so now the Ice Climbers are sitting with like 2 stocks, and the guy sitting in the chair, he's all happy, but guess what happened? The Peach came out, right? So now Team B sends out their Peach and takes out the Ice Climbers, right? So now Team A, with their counter pick advantage, goes, what do we do to beat this Peach? Now they have a Fox, a Falco, a Marth.
Okay,
right?
Listen, rather than
And
explaining...
I know, I'm not going to go the whole way. I'm not going to go the whole way.
Like,
but
what's the
anyway,
point,
this
man?
is how it works. This is how it works, obviously. And this is important to touch on because I deleted the whole list. But when you get to the counter pick advantage, you have the stages now, and now you have your entire roster of characters, and you can control what you can do, right? And then, of course, there's the momentum, there's the mentality, there's the crowd, and there's so many different things going on behind that I think it's I think crew battle commentary is very important to touch on because it's definitely different because you have to focus on matchups and you have to focus on the around game, and then on the play-by-play not as much. I mean, like, of course it's always as important when you're in the game.
So
but
you're saying, like, in Air of Doubles, you have to focus on the strategy?
yes, exactly. The strategy is probably the most important part because now you can be like, all right, now what's this captain going to send in next? What's going to go on here? What's going to go on there? And that whole idea of that. So I think, so with all the melee games I've done, I've sat there with their rosters in my hand and gone, and I'm not going to be like, oh, well, they have to send this character in or else they're going to lose the crew battle, right? I wouldn't say something like that because that's interjecting your own ego into it, right? As we were talking about before with I just want to see a game 5 or
Just about,
that whole thing. So yeah, I think that's about everything I have to say about crew battles, but I think that they're a slightly different path from the main singles commentary with bias, but it's still kind of like that singles commentary with bias at the same time.
Okay.
But we can read what Prog says, unless you have anything you want to say.
Not exactly. I think I'm pretty good so far. It's like I've never done crew battles commentary, and I've never focused too hard on commentary when crew battles was happening. So let's let Prog do my speaking for me.
Yeah.
Crews are usually lax in terms of approach. That's true. They're self-contained pieces. You don't have to reference what has been going on with the players in the past, but it does add a bit. The focus is on the here and now, the rosters, the strategy of picking players, matchups, variety in characters, and of course the players. The thing about crews is often the quickest way for someone to pop out of nowhere and be a big deal. And you have to elevate them in that moment. Sure, brackets have upsets and all, but what happens when a player makes a 10 stock run? What happens when that unknown player is sent up against SFET and takes his last stock pretty handily? Not only that, but due to the nature of crews, I'd say that there is a time for bias to run rampant. That's the spot.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so again, another nice little bow. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so I think if you, I don't have anything else to add. I think I said everything I wanted to say. We can straight go to number 9 if you want.
Okay, yeah. So, right to number 9. Discuss commentary inside favoritism, not giving new people high-level opportunities without knowing the right people first. Some events not allowing applications for commentary to give a couple new people pools, opportunities, etc. I'm tripping on my words.
That's okay. You've been reading a lot.
When it comes, I almost read Prog's piece right away.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna read it right away, but I was pretty upset when I learned how real this is.
Well, let me take my inexperience because I'm gonna talk quick on this.
Okay.
I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate here.
Mm-hmm.
Inside favoritism definitely is a thing. However, here's the thing: is that who takes care of applications for commentary? 1 or 2 people. Well, the person who should take care of it is the stream. Someone who might take care of it is the TO. If a TO takes care of it, that's bad. TO has other things to worry about. Let the stream do it.
Of course.
If the stream doesn't take care of it, well, dude, you're kind of, fucking around with a very big part of your stream.
Yeah.
The main thing I want to talk about is the inside favoritism, is that people know what's tried and true.
Mm-hmm.
People know what works and what doesn't, and then
Right.
here's the thing is that, like, there's always I want to say, a system to things. The correct time to ever give someone new, a chance is during pools, during
Yeah.
during pools, during, I want to say, like, I'm trying to think of, like, times where commentaries lax. There was actually an application for Olympus. I actually wanted to do commentary for Olympus, and Shibo said, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
send me some of your work." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's not like that doesn't exist. But
Right.
if you have friends and you know they're going to commentary and you've heard them commentate before, the experience is going to take over, because the experience is what you want to go with, because these
Right.
tournaments, these nationals, are getting sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want the number one thing you're used to hearing be a risk when it comes to having a sponsored tournament.
Right.
You don't want the one person. Like, in fact, the funny thing is, I want to take this time to reference a post I remember seeing.
Well,
Here, one sec. I'm trying to find out exactly where it was.
who posted it?
Okay, well, let me at least say what it was first.
Yeah.
The previous thing that I'm referencing is, there was a person who hopped on Smash 4 commentary and was spewing a bunch of misinformation, was saying a bunch of shit that was wrong, which is also spewing misinformation, talking shit in general, saying Smash 4 is a bad game. Like, it was clear that something wasn't there, and that's the problem, and that's why inside favoritism exists, because when you put someone on commentary, especially without having a line of work to reference, you never know what they're going to do, and you don't know everything. Like, sometimes the pieces aren't all there to the puzzle, and that's how you get people going up on commentary and saying the stupidest shit ever.
Yeah.
Like, I remember back when, like, we used to say back in 2013, like, on commentary, saying, "Oh wow, he just got raped," was, like, a thing.
Oh, yeah.
We said it all the time. Like, it was
On my
all the
stream all
time.
the
Watch the documentary. Watch the documentary. It has it in spades. And also features Milk Tea, who's, like, a huge advocate against that too.
Oh yeah, she had her entire spiel on that one.
Yeah. So, shout outs to Prague. I think he was actually one of the driving forces of why commentary is, like,
How it is now.
yeah, less older men slang and more everyone can talk, or less
Right.
things that everyone's happy with. So, like we said, raped all the damn time, and I'm slowly starting to. Oh yeah. So, an example of this was BG Boot Camp. There's a stream, EE and TK. This was early 2014, mid 2014.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, where EE said something about somebody getting raped, and TK was like, we don't say that."
Yeah, it
And
was
EE was like, "What? Raped? We don't say raped anymore? Is that big of a deal?" Like, he just, like, not only did he say it over and over and over again, but also he showed complete disregard for it. And it's like, my personal opinion is that I don't think people should be so PC, but you're also broadcasting to thousands of people, and you never know who's watching. So
of course you have to cater to it a little
there's
bit.
a time and a place where you can be stone cold about PC, but there's also a time and a place where you need to understand, hey, some things just aren't called for. PTSD is a thing. So,
Oh, it's absolutely a thing.
yeah, so I can tell you right now, there was some credibility lost. So, EE was able to build himself back up and become the incredible commentator he is today. But it was like, there are moments uncensored, like, we're uncensored. We don't have the ability to bleep shit out on the playback. If people say raped on stream, guess what, motherfucker? It's going through. You
Yeah,
know?
there's no bleep button on
Exactly.
our
So
mini profession here.
if you have someone that you know, like if you're Calvin, if you're Gimmer, why the fuck did I call him Calvin?
It's because you guys are homies, right?
No.
We're friends on Facebook. I guess I could.
I was gonna say, if there's anyone that I would refer to that like as a streamer, it would be Chibo. Like, because I know I have Chibo on Facebook. But
oh yeah, Chibo. I love Chibo. Anyway, go on.
If you're Gimmer, and you've got even pools, you've got a stream that's being sponsored by X companies with a tournament that's being sponsored by X companies, Nintendo included. Why would you ever take a chance on someone you don't know, on someone you like? Not
exactly.
Only, on someone that doesn't have previous reference. Like, because it's one thing if it's like, okay, top 8 commentary. I'm extremely good friends with Fendi and Blur, and Scar and Toph, and it's like let's say Webbs, because Webbs I want to say is like the new mainstay in top 8 commentary.
Yeah, he's like the new guy. Him, Vish, and Fendi. I like to say the three of them are doing a lot.
Well, Fendi, I would say Fendi like ODs on the work. Like you hear Fendi commentary everywhere.
Oh, he's everywhere. Yeah. Anyway, go on.
But like let's say Webbs. Webbs started to get known around What the Fox when he commentated for like 9 consecutive hours with Blur.
Yeah.
And he showed to be a good commentator. It's like, let's say, okay, I have to choose between Fendi, Blur, Vish, Webbs. Did I say Fendi at What the Fox?
You did.
I meant Webbs.
Oh no, you said Webbs, where he commentated with Blur. Yeah, you said that.
Where he commentated with Blur. And so it's like, you can only choose 2 teams. So the inside favoritism would be choosing, Fendi, Blur, Vish, and Toph, and not choosing Webbs because he's the new guy, or you don't know him quite as well, or let's say you ever get a national under your belt in terms of commentary, not choosing you or something like that. That would be the inside favoritism, and that's kind of fucked because then you have the people with less experience who proved they can do it but need more exposures to start refining their game. That's where the inside favoritism
to get further.
Yeah, it really sucks.
Yeah, definitely.
But it also makes sense. Like just as in playing Melee, where you have to learn how to shuffle before you start doing multi-shines.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't do majors without commentating locals. You don't do regionals without commentating locals. You know what I mean? It's like there's a ladder to things. There's levels to this. So you have to understand that you have to prove yourself at the previous level for you to be able to do it. Now,
at the next level.
Yeah, at the next level. So if you have Blur, Scar, Toph, D1, Prague all vouching for you, and D1's not D1, and Gimmer says no, I'm gonna use these guys, because I know them. That's inside favoritism. If you have all these good people vouching for you, like good trusted opinions, especially for commentary, and it's just completely disregarded, that's inside favoritism, and that's where it doesn't belong. However, do remind you, there's a system to things. Anyway, that's me playing devil's advocate. Feel free to take your side of it.
Right. So it made sense what you were saying, but the lack of giving opportunities is hard, because you can't expect people to advance when people that are already at the top start to step back if you don't give them that opportunity, right? So let's say right now, Scar has been a little bit out of play. He's had his child. He's doing his whole thing right now. He's very busy. We've had Prague. Great example. Prague has not been able to attend as many majors anymore. He can beat them, but he's not on the mic as much,
Yeah, he's busy with Last Stock Legends.
There's people, and then there's people that like have moved to Smash 4. D1 is a lot on the Smash 4 side now, and now you're starting to get to like, well, now what do? We have Toph. Okay, that's great, but who do we put up? Who do we put in there? Now you have all these new people, but you have Blur, Fendi, you have Webbs, you have Vish, you have very good commentators.
To help, let's paint a little better of a picture. like trust a new commentator or have another commentator do like overtime.
Right, exactly. So you obviously that's where portfolios, that's where people start to build their own sets to send
Yeah,
to
that's
someone
that's
that
where
would
the
be
system
looking at
comes
that.
in.
So so if you see, I wrote some events not allowing applications for commentary. So the way that you can't trust somebody is by not even opening an application system, right? Because then if you have an application system, post 2 YouTube links of your best sets. Okay, you watch those 2 sets. Well, they're just locals, you know. Maybe they look at this guy. Oh, he did. I did Super Nebulous, and I also did Shine, right? And I also did Do or Die. Let's say I pick some sets from there, and I
I would
send
say
them,
do or DI.
and they're
It's
like,
quite
oh, well, this guy's. So then people can go forward a little bit more, right?
yeah.
But if they don't even put an application process out, they're just going to take all of the ones that are already known, already high up there. They're just going to take Mango, throw them in for a little while. They're just going to take just people that are just hanging out, like good players or just good community members to just sit down and grab the headset.
Yeah.
Instead of letting new people kind of push up a little bit, they're just kind of reaching around them. And it's not terrible, but
It's
there's
important.
less and less
Yeah,
opportunities.
and I'm gonna take another draw to professional wrestling. It's like, let's take Hulk Hogan for example. Hulk Hogan was known because he was kind of a douchebag behind the scenes. He wouldn't like he almost refused to lose to like I want to say younger talent. It's like in order for younger talent, like for people to get over and to genuinely care about the newer talent, you have to have them put in a good storyline and booked well. But one thing that really helps is to have an older, more experienced, like well-established wrestler, especially someone with the air of like, hey, beating me is a big deal,
Right.
lose and lay down and accept that loss, on their dossier.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's like
Um,
if you want to gain credibility for somebody in commentary, one of the commentators that are the big guys, the experienced guys, has to take a step back. It's how the cycle continues, because if you never give somebody an opportunity and you stick with the same guys for so long, next thing you know, it's like when one person wants to retire, or like Prague wanted to retire, someone needs to do it again, you're all of a sudden like at a loss.
exactly.
You could have had someone who's already so well developed to take over the reins. Now you're thrusting someone into the spotlight that doesn't need to be there.
Right. So, and then of course, Shine 2016 was the one tournament that I've seen where they literally said outright day one, we're taking local commentators to give them opportunities to do better things. They took me, they took Kunai, they took a bunch of people, Ambus Sinister, a bunch of people that were trying to commentate from the tri-state region, and said, hey, listen, get in there. They threw some good players from the region in, and it made a pretty nice mix. Just looking for newer players. Look, if you need a major for your opportunity to start commentating pools, I think we're going to let it be this one. And it worked out very well. I think that it was pretty good. And now that's going to be on a lot of people's little resumes in their back pocket, myself included, for when they go to the next major. Let's say I want to go to Smash the Record next year. I want to commentate here. I want to commentate there. And I just hand them that. But of course, if there's no applications, what am I going to do, right? So that's also coming down to who you know.
Yeah. All right. Proc says, when it comes to that part, there's a difference between favoritism and putting in work, which is what I was doing, devil's advocate versus genuine favoritism.
Yeah.
Some folks get selected for events over and over. They've built their name and they've been grinding. They keep getting asked to do more. The thing I say to a lot of people who are trying to step it up is, how heavy is your grind? Evo now requires commentary reels. Have they made one? How often are you working on your commentary? I've seen people upset they aren't chosen to commentate X event, and I've been to the locals and they aren't there. How a TO runs an event in terms of commentary is up to them, and I don't blame them if they want to be conservative with their choices. You're representing the event, the event sponsors, the scene, etc. At majors, I 100% would stick with the tried and true, but commentators need to use locals and regionals as resources to improve. If you're an aspiring commentator, you can't get scorned every time you don't get picked for a major. Most often, polls at a major still is done by people who are known commentators. I've been inactive for most part this year, and sure, I have a resume that in the scene is hard to match. That said, I still pop in and do locals on the occasion to keep sharp.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a little burb under that too, but
What do you mean?
people often say,
Oh god, it's a multi-part answer.
yeah, these are a lot of these are multi-part.
People often say it's about knowing the right people, and there's a slight mistake in that. It's about getting noticed by the right people. Let your body of work speak for you until they can't ignore you. And if they are still ignoring you, you better be out there in a week out showing why they shouldn't be. Yeah. Like, a good example, shit, dude, and sometimes it's so simple, too. Like, a good example is, I wanted to be noticed by Prague. I talked to him, I said, hey, Prague, can you tell me about commentary?
And look where we are.
Yeah, and look where we are. We're doing a podcast with you who has a load of experience at the local level and some at a national level, and me who, you know,
If you put the work in, you could.
I was gonna say,
No problem.
well, it's not even about like me putting in the work, but it's like, you know, here I am, someone who casts, you know, who streams every night, you know, weekdays, and you know, I have put in a lot of time to be able to carry on my own entertainment.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, you know, asking about commentary didn't even necessarily make me a better commentator, but it did help me in terms of being able to speak over, you know, gameplay, which is what I do. Now, I actually would one day like to, because it's like I'm so happy with streaming. I don't know if I'll go back to this, but if I kind of want to record in parts gameplay and do, you know, like just a solo commentary over it, and I definitely want to see how, like, I can tell you right now, like, I could probably do one right now, go back and compare it to my Assassin's Creed 4 gameplay on YouTube back when I first, like, it's the first time I ever did a solo commentary, and I bet I could blow myself out of the water.
I bet you could.
I could blow myself.
Great. How many ribs do you have?
None. No, but it's like, you know, it's like, talking about the commentary definitely helped me, you know, give me the tools, It's like, here I am thinking about thoughts. No, it definitely helped give me the tools to start my grind on entertainment while playing, or, you know, and entertainment in general. You know, the thousands of hours I put into streaming, like, I do this upwards of anywhere from 5 to 14 hours a day, give or take, whether I'm working or not.
Right.
You know, it made me good at this, and that's going to help me when I do commentary. That's why, you know, as someone, listen, you know, Do or DI was my second time ever doing commentary, right?
Well, yeah, but it was really good for your second time just because of what you already knew from your streaming and stuff, right?
Yeah, essentially, I could take what I did as a streamer and enforce it, and I combine that with
your knowledge, your game knowledge.
My knowledge for Melee and my passion for Melee. Even the first time I did it, I wasn't bad.
No.
You know? But, yeah, Do or DI was the first time we commentated together. It was the last time I got the chance to commentate. I tried to
Which is too bad.
Yeah, I tried to commentate with Fendi at Olympus, but Shannon did not hear my cries of, Shannon, can I commentate?
That sucks.
Yeah, I don't really care. It wasn't that big of a deal. Because after a point, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just chill here, play some more Melee.
See, you didn't get anything at Olympus though. That sucks.
No,
I was thinking about doing it, but
you should have.
It was too. You know, I haven't been to AC in a while.
I know, man. I would have housed you.
Yeah, I know. Wait, there's something coming up for AC, isn't there?
Let me know. I need to know. But let's get back on track real quick. Let me know as soon as we're done with this. Let's get back on track.
Let's try and finish this up. I'm getting tired.
Yeah. So the info.
How long have you been live?
From like 11 to 1 a.m.
2.5 hours.
Lovely. This is all going up on YouTube.
Yeah. So we're at
Number 10.
I think we're at the end.
Yep.
Yeah. So we
Lastly.
read everything.
Yep. Lastly, oh, you know what's funny is that yeah, we're at the end, but guess what? You also
biggest
said
one.
let's talk about ourselves for a bit, analyze some sets, and construct a tier list of local.
We don't have to do
commentators
that.
from. Yeah, fuck that.
The reason why I think against making a small tier list of, local commentary and, I think that it's just
It would literally just
this
be
is more
you.
of a commentary as a whole.
Yeah.
It would literally just be.
I wanted to
yeah.
focus on commentary as a whole, and also I'm not too into New Jersey's local commentary scene. So
But yeah. So we need to just talk about where do you start. And that's it for number 10.
anywhere, man.
So
Anywhere. Like, look at your it's hard. It's hard if you don't have a scene. But find your scene, find the locals, find the one that is streaming, and do it. Just do it,
yeah.
man.
So let's do it. Consult Shia LaBeouf and just take his advice.
Do it!
From going from, I don't know if it was you saying this. Someone used to say this to me. It's like going from basements to ballrooms.
Yeah, I've ever said that a day in my life.
I thought it was with you when you said that. Oh, I think it was Carpenter who said it to me. Everett.
Carpenter says basements to ballrooms.
Mm-hmm.
A carpenter.
And so we, of course, starting out at Hitbox Arena, it's snowing outside. There's, 6 people, and we've got this round robin, and Fry Cook's there, and he's wobbling all the new players, and I just grab a headset, and I'm just sitting there, just talking, right? No one's watching, but that's where you start, And
yeah, and it's also like, dude, listen, if you don't even have a scene, guess what? Get a YouTube video up, click record, and talk over, mute the video and start commentating.
Yep.
Commentate a set over other people's commentary and record yourself, and then listen to it back. Maybe share it. There is, listen, you wanna know where to start? Do that. Or, commentate locals, commentate regionals, whatever the hell you can. Do what you can. And there's a Facebook group, Smash Commentators, that needs some love. And if you post in that group, I'm sure Prague will give you a good look over. People will give their opinions. It's not updated too much, but I can tell you right now, it's like if you use it, people are going to help you out. At least you're going to get your name out there to a group.
Am I not in this group? I'm not even in the group.
I joined that group right after Skatar 3.
Yeah, there's non-commentators in this group, but let's go.
Yeah, it's fine. It went from Smash commentators to also people asking technical questions and shit like that.
Okay.
This is back when commentators also probably knew a thing or two about streaming.
Right.
Well, I mean,
so now I just have my
I'm sure
Facebook
commentators do, even now, but also at the same time, it's people are asking oh, what microphone should I use? Oh, audio, video issues, stuff like that. But where do you start commentating?
Right.
Anywhere, man. As long as you got
Anywhere.
a match to watch, you can commentate, and you got to practice with that.
The internet has so many resources.
Yeah, there's so much to read.
You don't matches.
You don't even have to commentate Melee.
No, not at all.
Yeah, commentating anything can help. Commentate someone taking a shit. Make them feel super uncomfortable. And the more uncomfortable they feel, the better you're doing.
Yeah, that means you're doing a good job because you're putting the emotion into them,
okay.
Right?
Maybe don't do that. But commentate a baseball game.
But anyway.
Commentate a football game. Commentate Melee.
Why not?
Commentate a game of freaking Dark Souls. You know what I mean? Anything. Yeah, that's just commentary. Game knowledge is important, but you can get game knowledge from playing.
Yeah.
Commentary is something you can do universally. And the second question is, how do you make it big? Well, here's the thing. Making it big, why are you out there is the question. If you're going to make it big for you. Don't... No, I mean, when I say if you want to make it big, don't... Yeah, I wanted to say don't make it big for you. Don't make it big because you're oh, yes, I'm, major Smash commentator. Like it's
Right,
not
right.
about making it big. Like people get paid to go out and commentate, but I can tell you right now, it's not gonna fucking
It's not
pay the,
gonna.
it's not gonna pay all of their bills.
Nah,
You
you're
know.
not gonna live your life out on that.
So
Unless you're a League of Legends
I was gonna say
caster.
at least not at this very moment. Not the way with Melee. Like we're big, but we're not we're not the top.
Yeah, the production value is still on the work,
Yeah.
And also we don't have a company that we have a company that'll sponsor our event, but we don't have a company that will literally take over the production of our event.
Pretty
Like
much.
let's just say how Riot Games does with League of Legends. The way
And
how that works is just so crazy, right?
and if you want to make it big, commentate for your scene. Let your scene make it big, and then you will too.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, and that works with how Prague started. There's the whole going in with you just go to Nebulous and you just commentate. That's your local every single day, or every single week. You just go to Nebulous, you commentate.
Prague
But what I
MD1
did, I went to
started.
HPA.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, yeah. I went to HPA. I started commentating, right? And I would commentate Melee on Monday. I've pretty much commentated about 100, more than 100 Melee on Monday tournaments. That obviously helped me.
And there's been 106.
Ah, dude, there's been way more.
I know. I'm fucking with you. Really? I
100
remember Mom
129.
100 being like, oh well, whatever.
Bomb 100 had 100 people at it in that little venue.
Oh, isn't that poetic?
It was my birthday, Mom 100, and it was also Memorial Day. It was such a good day.
I mean, I
But
wish
anyway,
I went.
so it was great.
Go ahead.
But Melee Monday was the reason why I started.
Yeah,
And,
that was your training.
There's a lot of
grounds.
people. Yeah, and I've had some people that I help out. There's a lot of people that are just starting out, like Gemini, Wombat, Chai. There's a bunch of people that are like still on the cusp of getting into the regional level in the first place, right?
Mhm.
And they're still sitting at locals trying to figure it all out, and I'm trying to help them. And it's always good to be positive, but it's just all about how hard you try it, how much you care. Because if you have a big passion for it and you put a lot of time into it, it's gonna go a little bit further than someone that doesn't care about it as much.
Yeah.
I think I said a lot this past little while.
You
It
did.
might be a tired thing.
That's why we
'cause I
leave
think-
the streaming to me and the commentary to you.
Thank you. I'm getting better.
All right. Well, let's
Anyway,
let's read off Proc's opinion.
And go to
then
bed.
We'll wrap it up. You gotta go to bed. I gotta start thinking about going to bed. I got called into work. So,
shit.
hey, you take a lot of the commentators in the scene, and the stories start out similar. We were there commentating because it was an era where plain matches were the only things constantly being uploaded, just game audio. MLG had already done some commentary, and in that grassroots period, we thought that people talking about matches was something worth continuing with. It wasn't, I want to be a commentator, it was, we're already recording these matches, mind talking about them? Nowadays, it seems like just about every local has a stream. People have their home streams, etc., like me. So if commentary is something you want to get into, go to a local, play, get knocked out, play more, and then watch matches. What do you see? What do you want to point out? What about the game, the set, the moment sticks out to you, and how can you make that resonate to where an audience is invested? As for making it big, none of us went out there looking to make it big. We went out there looking to elevate our game's presence and how it is received, whether that's on a local or global scale. Making it big, who knows what the magic recipe is. However, for Smash, the top commentators are rarely mentioned alone. They're mentioned with a partner, so having that synergy is huge. To make it big nowadays, I guess you'd have to grind, but there are no dearth of opportunities to do that. Can I actually learn what that word is?
Yeah, you know what? I would love to learn that.
Define Darth?
I've never heard of that word
Dearth?
before.
Dearth.
Darth Vader.
Dearth.
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 Oh, that makes
Dearth.
sense.
Dearth.
A scarcity or lack of something. Thank you,
Prague is smart.
Oh,
What
I
a
love
guy.
his vocabulary.
Yeah,
Anyway,
he has great vocabulary.
I guess
Alright.
you have to grind, but there are no dearth of opportunities to do that. It isn't just about the quantity of work, it's about the quality. You can't stay stagnant, you have to constantly be able to handle what's thrown at you, pairing-wise, matchup-wise, etc. You have to have some kind of factor that makes audiences tune in. And well, you have to treat it as a second job, even if the benefits of a second job aren't there. The quality you have to have is thick skin. You're not always going to be on your A game. Like I said before, you could be most entertaining person out there, but some people aren't looking for that, and they'll let you know. You have to take criticism and know what to do with it. You can't get lost in it and lose your own voice. People choose to listen to you. You can listen to what they're saying and see how to make you from the last event improve while not losing your spirit in the process. And that, I think we honestly covered just about anything someone would want to know in terms of what commentary is.
Yeah.
And what commentary is to Melee and what commentary is to... And it's like, good tips on commentary too.
There's a lot covered in this.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that we literally touched everything, and just in these 10 questions.
Everything,
because...
children and all.
All right. We went straight to the playground, and we just and we hit them all. All right, so
we have left no child untouched. All right, let's stop it.
No Super Smash Brother child untouched.
No, no, let's just continue.
So anyway, back to commentary. We've covered a lot of things. Prog's advice here is
super helpful.
Very, very helpful for those who maybe are feeling like they aren't getting any further. They've been doing the same thing for a year. Like, come on. And every single person won't even... Some people won't even let you commentate at a local because they just don't like you. And then you just get a little upset about it. And you keep trying at home. And you're sending videos to other people online. And they're like, yeah, you're good. I don't understand why they won't let you on. And you can...
There's always a way.
There's always a way.
Where
always.
there's a will, there's a way.
There's always a way.
You know,
and you just have to keep trying, man.
You can take it from, someone who's had a national level experience in him, someone who has, the potential and has exercised that potential like me, and, who comes from another side of casting. There's always a way to practice, and so long as you have that passion, you can do it.
Oh, absolutely.
And yeah, commentary, super important to Melee. And this has been just about every thought we could spill about it. So
for over almost 3 hours, right?
Yeah, just about.
Oh, wow.
This beautiful thing is going up on YouTube, and I'm gonna post it on Reddit probably tomorrow at peak hours. So thank you very much to everyone who is watching or will watch in the future.
we actually got a pretty good amount of viewership throughout this entire
shoutouts to D1 for coming in and supervising us for a little bit.
Yeah, shouts to Prague.
Shoutouts to Prague for giving me very in-depth, very genuine answers about each and every question that I sent him.
I'm gonna save this document so I can read it myself later because of how much I loved what he said. Everything was said so well.
Hopefully, if we ever do this in the future, I would say we should give it some good time. In fact, this kind of feels like something that could be done yearly, and you could like review the year of in commentary. What would be amazing would be like a group Skype call or like a Discord call. Like, let's paint the future real quick.
I would love to.
Scar, Toph, D1, Prague, whoever in commentary discussing how the year's work was.
That would be really cool.
Talking about what commentary did for Melee this year. How can we improve? What can we do, etc. That'd actually be really cool. Well, maybe not all of them because people have schedules and are busy. But
of course,
definitely to be able to get somebody in this call and give their much more experienced opinion would be nice.
Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna call it, considering it's 1 a.m.
Stay golden.
Yeah.
Bang.
So, dude, it was awesome. I knew if there's someone I had to approach about this, it'd be you.
Because I talk too fucking much. Well,
that and when I commentated with you at Dury I just knew you're definitely one of the best casters I've commentated with, right? So like the fact that it was only your second time we commented together, and I was like, wow, this guy's really good.
Yeah, I hope you
Um,
understand that I'm keeping this in the video to feed my ego.
oh, no problem.
Alrighty.
But
Let's cut it off real quick.
yeah, let us cut it off. So that is why. And then also, you got Prague, so guess what?
Hey.
You're just the best.
Thank you very much.
So thanks, guys. I'm gonna go to fucking sleep. I might play League of Legends with Psyched, but I don't know I don't know if he's still down. It's kind of been a little while, but
Anyway, peace.
good night, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you missed it, there's the VOD that's about to go up as I hit the send stream button. So
Later,
take
fuckers.
care, guys. Later, fuckers. Have a good night.